What you are about to hear is highly classified. Pay attention and listen at all times. And most importantly, remember, a deadbeat is a deadbeat, even if your good old dad is the world's greatest superhero. Ladies and gentlemen, you are now entering a special feature interview episode of Zone 4. And welcome back to the Zone. I'm Brant.
I'm Chris.
I'm Jay.
And we have a special guest with us on this episode 429 of Zone 4. Kat, Comic Uno, welcome to the show.
Thank you. A first, which is crazy.
Yeah. All this time we've known each other, and you've never been on my podcast. That's crazy.
I know.
She managed to avoid it this long.
Yeah, that's what I.
And now she
we sucked her in. But no, we're gonna have a really good chat with Kat about her Kickstarter going on right now. But first, we should mention we are proud members of the Comics Podcast Network. You can find Zone 4 on comicspodcast.com each and every episode, along with a whole bunch of other shows. So go check it out and get all your Zone 4 fix over there. All right. So, Kat, long time coming, finally here. Are you happy to be here, or are you scared to death?
Oh, man. I think a little bit of both.
That's
good.
Wise. That's very wise.
Very safe.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, you're coming on with Chris. I mean, that's always a danger. You know that.
Oh, for sure.
You know, Brant, you're the one that hired me onto this show. Don't even.
That is true. I was desperate.
I think you kind of held a gun to Brant's head.
No, I didn't have to hold nothing. I held
since
nothing.
it's a podcast,
Either that or you
know.
held bacon to his mouth. Like you dangled bacon in front of him. You were like, I got bacon.
That's how Chris gets me to do everything. It's just bacon. It's all
Yeah,
bacon.
that's right.
Sends
He's
it through the
like,
mail.
I got bacon.
He'll give me a heart attack one of these days.
It's all that oil.
Or all that Chris. I don't know. Either one of the two. But
Oh, you know
anyway.
what? At least you died happy.
Yeah, well, no, I can't argue
It
that.
depends on if it's one of the two.
Well, I guess so, yeah.
Bacon, maybe. Chris, that depends.
It's
on the day.
50-50, you know?
It don't even 50-50 me, mister. Let's do more shows
Chris, it
together.
depends on the day.
Yeah, exactly. When I'm in a
I would
really
like,
good mood.
I would like
it's-
not just Kat, but the world to know these are two gentlemen I work with outside of Zone 4. Jay and I do shows together.
Why do you have to let
Brent
me
and I
know
do shows
this?
together.
You said,
They're making it
not
sound like I'm
just
the
Kat.
worst person to work with.
Yeah.
The world needs to know.
I've worked
Kat's
with
known you
you.
longer than we
Yeah,
have.
I've worked with you longer than Brant and Jay, so
They're
I know.
scaring you. They're scaring you. It's like, Kat, never solo
She
shows.
knows you, Chris. Come on.
She doesn't know me.
New Year.
This girl I just
Nobody
met.
knows me. I'm complicated.
Many layers.
I live a complicated life. I have layers. I'm like an onion.
Yeah, you make people
Chris,
cry.
I let people cry as I go layer by layer.
Right.
The longer you know them, the more you cry.
When you get to the center, it's over.
It's over.
Oh, man. Yeah, that's... Okay.
An enigma.
That was the weekly dig on Chris.
Yeah, that was. Yep. Never gets old.
I'm just glad I'm not the butt of all the jokes on Zone 4 anymore.
Give
Because
it
that was
time,
me for
Brant.
years.
Give it time, Brant. Give it.
It'll come back around. I'm
Oh,
sure.
it will. It always will.
And, yeah, I'm waiting for it. But until then, I'm going to have some fun. Anyway, for the reason that we are here and why we have Kat on the show, it's topic time.
Topic time. It's topic time. Feature interview.
And for topic time, of course, we are talking with Kat about her Kickstarter for Like Father, Like Daughter, the collected edition, collecting the first 4 issues of the series. Kat, tell us a little bit about Like Father, Like Daughter.
Awesome. Yeah, I have the elevator pitched. I always tell everybody, so I'll just say that. It's about a high school girl. Father left her to become a full-time superhero. Everyone in the world loves him, except for her, and then she inherits his abilities. So you gotta find out what happens next.
Awesome. And how is the Kickstarter going so far?
It's going really well. We actually have the most backers we've had for Like Father, Like Daughter Kickstarter, and as of right now, we're have 15 days left for it. So we're halfway through the Kickstarter, We're already at like 140 backers. We're past our goal, but now we're doing stretch goals. We're about $150 away from our first stretch goal, which is the Lumberjacks variant cover with Invulnerable in the background and some other short fuse characters. And the second stretch goal I can't talk about, but hint, hint, it's very like father, like daughter, centric, exactly. So if you're a fan, we want to get to this stretch goal.
Yeah, so trying to continue to like father, like daughter narrative.
Yes.
Yeah. There you go. That's a good way of putting it. And this also got a project we love on Kickstarter, which is awesome.
Thank you. Yeah.
That's really cool. I mean, it's
awesome.
Yeah, we've all been following the series. Obviously, we're all friends, and we've all supported it in the past, and we've been able to read the series along with you and talk to you about the series. So we're all excited for you and happy for you, and excited to see where this goes.
And we've all been in this series.
That's true.
Yeah, that's right.
You can catch all of us, and in it, if you get the if you back it and you get the trade paperback, they're putting that story into the trade paperback. So the story with us working at the comic shop or being customers at the comic shop too, some of us, it's going to be in there. So you can see us in the comic book along with the like father, like daughter cast.
Awesome. Very cool. And there's like a bunch of other extras in this too, right?
Yeah. Some cool
You
stuff.
want to talk about those at all?
Yeah, well, all right.
That was funny. It's like there's extras in there. There's extras.
Because like I'm so tired. I've been talking about this for the last 15 days. I just went right over my
Yeah.
And I don't have to explain. Oh, I'm on a podcast. I think I have to expand.
Right, that thing. So the extras that we have are we had the indie verse story that was actually from the issue 4 Kickstarter, and we actually have Last Ember that's in that story. It's all female indie heroes. Really excited about that one. And then obviously in the annual that Jay talked about, we have 2 other short stories from when we were doing Kickstarters as well that we just kind of gave away at conventions. One I remember is I think it was just Jim wanting Casey to be a hero and kind of having his narrative about it. I honestly don't remember what the other one is. I wrote it a couple of years ago.
I wrote it and completely forgot.
I don't remember. Maybe it's the Comic Duo story. Maybe I think that might be it. Where Comic Duo was my original YouTube channel with my best friend.
That was a mini comic.
Yeah, mini comics. I'm pretty sure that's in there. That might be in there. And then one that we actually included because of the Q&A is the webcomic of like Thought Like Daughter. We have the Get to Know webcomic and the Sleepover, which I feel like you get to learn a lot about all our characters with those 2 stories.
Yeah, you get to learn more about their personality, their preferences, and like little touchstones about them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
and because I pointed this out to Kat when I read that. I was like, the Sleepover one. I was like, Kat, you kind of gave away a spoiler.
A big one too. Yeah, I have.
Huge spoiler is in that one. So keep your eyes peeled, and you might be able to figure it out what it is.
I will also say that the teaser for the webcomic, which is my Beatles. I hope you're not hearing the background. My mom's talking.
Not at all, actually.
All right, good. But yeah, anyways, there's a Beatles teaser with Stephanie, Casey, Wes, and Invulnerable. And if you're a big Beatles fan, you might actually get what's going on or what's going to happen in this next arc. It's a huge teaser.
Oh yeah.
And you are a big Beatles fan.
Yes.
So obviously, that's pulling from your own experience there a little bit. That's cool. And you use like music in the book a lot too. Like you make a lot of references and stuff. And one of the characters like is really into music too, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So Stephanie, she's a guitarist, and that's something we're going to see a little bit more in issue 5. It's something that hasn't been referenced in the actual comic, but is going to be very referenced in our 3rd story arc. And obviously the webcomic, we've been referencing it a lot. We're going to learn a lot about Stephanie, which I'm really excited for. She's my favorite character now because I've developed her so much over, I would say, this past year. I really developed her character a lot. And yeah, music's always been important to me as a person, but also in comics it's always been important to me because it's this static medium. How do you show music, and a lot of, there's great comics like Spider-Gwen, and Spider-Gwen being the biggest example, Dazzler, as we always joke with Frontline Live, but Dazzler showed music in a different way too. So it's cool to see that, like how comics could do it, and I wanted to do that with like Father Daughter and show these characters have passion for something. Stephanie for music, Wes for comics, and I think Casey trying to find her own passion and try to figure out who she is, because not every teenager knows who they are like Wes and Stephanie.
Right. Awesome. That's really cool.
Wes is my favorite.
Yeah. Yeah, Jay's always Wes is my favorite. He's the comic geek.
Exactly. His bedroom's my bedroom. His bedroom's my bedroom when I was a teenager. And Wayne and I never talked before he did that. I didn't know Wayne at the time. And when I read that
Wayne
issue,
being the artist, of course.
Yeah, Wayne Brown being the artist for like Father Daughter. Before I even like talked to him or anything, I saw that issue and I was like, dude, that's my room when I was a teenager. And there's even that one poster of a real person in there. Like mine was Paul Abdul. I forget who it is. It's another singer. I think it's it is a girl up there.
I don't remember. I see Jay knows Wes's room more than I do. I will say
it's my room.
You do get to see Stephanie's room.
It was my room.
It's my room.
Even the Enterprise is there. I had the Enterprise in my room.
It's Jay's room somehow. We get to see a lot of rooms, which is interesting. I love that. I remember before we even did issue 5, I told Wayne. I told Wes. I told Wayne, we need to figure out Stephanie's room. It's like, oh, is it in issue 5? I'm like, kinda, it could be, but can we figure it out? Because I want to know what it looks like. So we did that, and that's how we ended up adding it to the webcomic, because I'm like, I want to know her room. So we get a lot of rooms in this book. But I had to ask
rooms tell their personalities.
Yeah, it is. It's cool to see that. But I got to ask Brand and Chris, who's like your favorite character? Because in the Q&A, I realized everyone has a different favorite character, and everyone loves Invulnerable a lot. Like, I love Invulnerable, but a lot more than I expected people to love Invulnerable.
Because, honestly, and Brand, you go first.
No, go ahead.
No, your voice...
All I did was go, and you were
beat me by
You have this whole thought, Chris. I want to know it now.
Invulnerable is a character I feel that really takes the spotlight a lot because he's the father that left his daughter. And I feel like there's a lot that readers, like myself, the first person that came into my mind was, I like him. He's my favorite. But then it's like, but wait, why is, like, you think real quick, why is he my favorite? And it's like, because you kind of put him in a spot where he's the dad that went away to be a superhero, so you want to know why he did it, and at the same time, he has this regret about doing it, so it's like, you want to see more about that character, you want to see him develop into what he's supposed, a good dad, and, and the lore of where he got his powers, and him, too, you don't know that much about him at the beginning of the book, so automatically you think of that, so I guess that's why I'm interested, that's why he's my favorite character, I want to learn more about him, and there's so much you want to see develop with him and his daughter,
Wayne wants me to do a year 1 with the Vulnerable graphic novel.
I knew it. I had a feeling that, I could see that though, but I could see that. I could see an Invulnerable comic with just him and just literally examine him, go through, just understand him more. I'll make you bet readers I would absolutely want to read that book.
I got plans for him, but I also like hurting him a lot, so.
Peter Parker gets hurt on a monthly basis, and there are a lot of people that get hurt.
I mean, where we left him, though, I love, because I go to conventions, and when I show that cover, he's like, is he dead? I'm like, he's just badly hurt. Don't worry, read the comic.
We just shot him.
Yeah, we just shot him. Like, we do everything to hurt Invulnerable. Especially in that 4th issue, like, he's pain emotionally and physically. We just love hurting him. Because his name's Invulnerable. You want to see, like, how can he get hurt?
Exactly, that's what I was about to say. It's funny that's his name, and he's always getting hurt.
Yeah.
That's hilarious. For me, honestly, I'm torn between Stephanie and Wes for different reasons. I like all the characters. I like what Chris said about Invulnerable. I like Casey because she's still trying to figure everything out, and she's struggling with everything going on around her. And I like those aspects. But, there's the comic geek in me, and then there's the music lover in me, and I war between those characters because of those separate passions. But I think I lean more towards Stephanie. And it's funny. It's like I'm a big fan of the TV show The 100, and like the main character is Clark, but I've come to love Raven, which is another girl in the show, who's like this really strong character that kind of came from like just this side character to one of the main characters of the show because of her grit and her tenacity and just kind of pushing through all these kind of adversities. And I don't know, I'm always drawn to those kind of characters as opposed to some of the spotlight characters in stories like.
I think that's why I like Stephanie a lot too, is because like even though Casey is a character that's supposed to be a supporting character to a main character, like she's a main character, even though in another book she would be a supporting character. Like that's what our book's about. But I love supporting characters, like, you know, Buffy. I love Cordelia. You know, I love these characters that are kind of these dark horses. And I think with Steph, you get that a lot. I'm actually right now writing a TV pilot for like Follow My Daughter, so it's kind of been fun to figure out the changes I've been making for that and figuring out Stephanie's voice a lot. And because I'd been writing it for school, so my professor gave me notes, and he said, I really like how Stephanie's like the you know, always has the wise words. Like she always knows what's like, Wes always knows the geeky stuff to say, but I think Stephanie always knows like the emotional stuff to say. Yeah, like the life stuff to say. Like she's very level-headed.
Well, she's the best friend, so you know you gotta have that.
Yeah.
Stephanie.
And
that counterbalance, And
we're going to see the reverse, too, which I think is going to be really fun. I could definitely tease that the third arc, like I said, is very much about Stephanie, and then Casey takes the forefront of being the supportive friend. And I think that's the most likable thing about Casey, because I know, like, Casey's a harder character to get into, and I make it that on purpose, is because she is she's not perfect, and I don't think any character should be, and no interesting character should be, but I think Casey's most likable trait is how much of a friend she is to Stephanie. Because Stephanie's her only, she has her mom, but I think Stephanie's her only true, like, family member. And that's, I think, something we're going to really explore, too.
Yeah, that's awesome. Now, you mentioned writing it as a TV pilot. Now, when you first wrote this, you wrote it as a screenplay, right? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And then you transitioned to a comic, and now you're transitioning to a TV pilot. I'm curious how that whole process works and what you have to do differently to fit the different mediums.
Well, the movie screenplay was, honestly, I just was able to figure out these characters and where the arc was going to go. Like that's why because Sean always plays it off as the first arc is the first 4 issues. And I said, well, the first 8 issues for me is the first arc because that's the movie, was all the things that happened. Obviously, I changed stuff from it, but the main gears are still there. And the 2 big moments that are going to happen in this next story arc is from the screenplay, and I haven't changed them. And one's a huge moment. Well, 2 of them are huge moments, but one, I always say I'm really excited for fans to be upset and maybe get angry at me. So I'm really excited about that, to see how people react to it. So that's something from the movie pilot. I keep saying movie pilot because I'm meshing the 2, but movie screenplay. Right. So I kind of figured out what the story was going to be, and then the comic, I feel like I figured out the characters a lot more, like because you have more time for characters in a comic than you do in a movie. The movie is like, all right, you got to do this, that, and that. You got to just show what the plot is. And then in the TV show, I've been really able to figure out what these characters would do, and honestly change some stuff that, after learning more about these characters, maybe I wouldn't have done originally. Like Stephanie, I always regret that she didn't know in the beginning. Like Casey tells her, it's like, oh yeah, my dad's invulnerable. And I think in my mind with the comic, it's more like Stephanie knew but never said anything. Like it's like she always knew, but she was waiting for Casey to say it. And that's going to play a bigger part with one of Stephanie's storylines, that Casey always knew, but she's waiting for Stephanie to say it. So you're going to see how that plays out. But yeah, so I played it off in the comic that way, but in the TV show, not that it's going to be airing anywhere, so I could spoil it. The TV show. She
says that now.
Right? You never know.
3 years from now, CW picks it up for like 12 seasons.
It's not a big spoiler. It's not a big spoiler, but Stephanie knows in the beginning, and I play it off as it's Invulnerable Day, and Casey. So Casey has to go to school where everyone's geeking out about Invulnerable and like wearing Invulnerable apparel, and Stephanie's the only one that doesn't. And they have to write like a paper about Invulnerable, and she's like, what the hell do I write about? This is my deadbeat dad. So Stephanie kind of gives words of wisdom about that. And like the car accident where Casey ends up getting her powers, Stephanie's there too. So those are things I probably would have changed if I could go back. But I think now, like, again, comic canon, I can understand. Like, yeah, Stephanie knew but never said anything. Because that's why she's so chill about it. She's like, yeah, you're my best friend. Like, I knew, but I wanted to wait.
I would love to see that scene on the show going in its vulnerable day.
If you have to record a scene, do that one.
Yeah.
Right? It's good stuff. I'm really proud of it. I'm really excited. I'm on my second draft of it now. There's so many cool things we're able to flesh out with it. I got Jay to read it. I'll definitely send it off.
Yeah, you have a YouTube channel. Hire some friends without paying them. Hire them by paying them with pizza and play out that scene.
I mean,
I think Scotty's the only one that will work for pizza.
No, we'll find people that'll work for pizza.
I'm waiting to pitch this one, so I'm gonna sit on it for a while. So
sit on it for now, but eventually I want to see the scene.
I'll show you guys what it's gonna be. I'll send it to Brand and Chris once it's done.
Yeah.
But I don't know if we're gonna show our YouTube.
All right, well,
I read all three versions. I read all three versions.
Yeah, you did. It changed a little bit, right, Jay? It's well, I want to hear your opinion on it, Jay. You read the screenplay when it came out. Well, no, when the comic was coming out, you read the screenplay because I said you have to know.
No, actually before, because I read it before you turned it into school.
All right, so you read it during school. You read it after too, because you wanted you wanted to. Well, I wanted to tell you the ending because I've been biting my tongue for 5 years on this ending, and I can't stand it. One is going to be revealed in issue 5, so don't worry. I don't have to bite my tongue for too much longer. And the other is issue 8, so I'm just like, I want people to know. So I let Jay know, and Brent, I think you know it too.
I know at least one of them. I think I know both of them.
After the show.
Obviously, I can't ask you about it.
After the show, I'll let you guys know if you don't know. But it's huge. I know Chris doesn't know the second one, but I'll let him know. I'll let him know.
You'll have to let me know. You'll have to let me know in secret.
Oh yeah, no. After the show, I'll let you guys know. But
Cloak and daggers.
So Jay, so you read the screenplay, you read the comic. As that was changing too. I had to say one of my favorite issues, which I guess we could talk a little bit about, which I made Jay read as well, is issue 9, which is a Stephanie one-shot. And I will say, I could spoil this because we're going to do a short story with it soon, hopefully. It's actually seeing them in the future a little bit. So I'm really excited about that. Yeah, it's really cool. So I'm really excited about that story. It's kind of cool to see how these things are changing and how they develop into other stories as well. So Jay, what's your thoughts on actually seeing it front with all three?
I liked it because I saw the growth in your writing first off. Like I saw how you grew as a writer doing all three. And I also saw that, again, it's almost like as if you got a second chance and then a third chance to rewrite these characters without actually rebooting anything, because they're just different iterations of them. So it was almost like you did 3 different reboots of it, but without actually rebooting anything.
Yeah. I think we were able to flesh out, like the TV show, I won't reveal the character that we flesh out more, but there's a certain character that we actually give that person more of a story that in the comic and even the screenplay at this point we weren't able to do.
Yeah. I think it worked out pretty well. Like I really liked how all the characters are evolving in both the comic and in the screenplay. I mean, in the pilot. Now she has me doing it in the pilot. So I really like how you're. It's almost like the pilot is the future of the comic, because what you're going to see evolving in the comic is what is already evolved in this the pilot.
Yes, we could definitely say that. There's stuff that I'm working on in like issue 11 right now that's revealed in the pilot early on, because there's stuff that could have been, but because it's Casey's story, it was harder to fit stories for like Wes and Stephanie and kind of fit their background story, but that's going to be revealed more in the next arc. Like I'll reveal like why Wes is so connected to superheroes. In the TV show we reveal that with Stephanie, she's keeping a secret. That's all. I revealed it before, so I'll reveal it here because I don't like saying this is like, oh, I got to keep it a secret. It's not a plot device. It's something about her character, but it's her sexuality that we're going to see more of in the next arc play out a lot. So I never try to keep that a secret because it's not one of those things where like, oh, it's a reveal. It's like, no, it's part of her character. But the way that happens is what I'm going to keep a secret because I don't want to tell you guys that. But that's kind of like what she's struggling with, and yeah, we're going to see more of that. But I couldn't fit it in this arc because it's about Casey. We'll maybe get like a glimpse of it. You might there's in the webcomic, she blushes when she's like, what's your deepest, darkest secret? Like, you get little glimpses of it. But I couldn't do it until this next arc.
I'm curious now that you've talked, well, I mean, obviously about it, a whole bunch of things, but now that you've written these 3 versions and you've talked about how you would do things differently, have you thought about things that you've done in the pilot and been like, you know what? Has it affected the way that you are writing the comic now? Are you thinking about it differently? Down the road, obviously you've written this a bit in advance. I mean, you've got several issues already written. So, but thinking long term, are you thinking about things differently, or are you just going to stay on that course?
Yeah, I think the one thing I've learned from the pilot is more fun with powers. I had a lot of people read the pilot just because I'm like, oh, I wanted to perfect it. This is for my portfolio to get into television writing. So I wanted as many people to read it as possible to say, oh, what should I fix and what should I do? So that's why I'm right now in the second draft. And yeah, I remember one example that people that aren't superhero fans, but, like storytelling told me is I want to see more Casey having fun with her superpowers. So one scene I added in the pilot, which I don't think maybe I'll add in the comic one day. It's such a small scene, but it's Casey and Stephanie and Jim, Casey's failing Jim, and she's like, but I have superpowers. How am I failing Jim? So it's those fun aspects, and then they have a race, and Stephanie's like, well, follow me. That way she doesn't see that you have superpowers. So it's those type of things of her figuring out her superpowers more, which in the comic we didn't have time for because honestly, we rushed right into the plot with her dad. So, which I think you have to do in a comic because you can't, people are going to get bored if it's just oh, it's been 10 issues and she hasn't interacted with her dad yet. So, you had to get into the plot quicker just to, get people to pick up the next issue. But with a TV show, you have, 15 minutes to an hour to do more. So those are things I really like pushing was those small moments, which I think I do enough in the comics as much as I could. And those are things I love, Brant and Jay and everyone knows I'm a huge Runaways fan, and that's because of the small moments. It's the character moments that I love. And then, I've read reviews and stuff, it's people love it and hate it. Some people are like, oh, no, there was a lot of talking here. Where's the action? And then some people are like, I love the talking. I'm glad it's like this. So, you can't please everybody. Right. But that's what's kind of cool about the book. There's so many facets to it that I think you'll find something to like.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, Kat went nuts over the latest issue of Runaways.
I did.
That's for
sure. So excited to talk about it on Tuesday.
Yeah. Have you read it, Chris? You don't read it?
No, I don't. I stopped reading Runaways 5 issues ago.
Yeah. Okay. What about you, Jay? Have you read it?
Jay reads everything.
I'm not saying anything until Tuesday.
Have you read it, Grant?
I'm Kat.
Yeah, I read it too. So.
I mean, it's Zone 4. I say we talk about it, but it's not my show.
I'm going to say that. I'm going to say that for the Frontline Live people.
Okay, that's
But you guys can talk about it.
When it comes to Jay, you never ask Jay, have you read it? You have to add the have you read it yet?
Well, that's what I meant. Yet.
Yeah.
That's what I mean.
Hey, this is Brand's show, though. I think he should decide if we're going to talk about Runaways or not.
Hey, if Brand and Jay can bore me with Big Brother, we can talk Runaways. No problem.
Well, why don't we do this? Why don't we do a little teaser conversation and then elaborate more on Frontline Live?
I like it.
Okay. So, obviously something major happened.
There's
Actually, two major.
There's three.
Are there 3? There's at least 2 that I can think of.
There's the 2 romantic things that happen.
Oh, yeah. I was forgetting about the Gert moment. Yeah, you're right. That one was unexpected.
Yeah.
I did not see that coming, and it was a little weird. But
especially because Victor's just ahead. But
yeah, exactly.
He's still just ahead?
Yeah.
Which makes it kind of fun, though. It kind of makes it fun that he's just ahead.
Gert hadn't worked for that kiss. Let's just say that. They really hadn't wanted to kiss if they were going to kiss.
Yeah, definitely. absolutely. I mean, they travel through time and everything for it.
Yeah.
But
Butterflies, wasn't that brilliant? I love that.
that was a nice touch. Yeah.
Yeah.
And of course, the cliffhanger we won't talk about. We'll save that for Tuesday because that was pretty big too. And then, of course, the moment that everybody knew was coming that you, Kat, have been waiting for a very long time.
I have, like 10 years, right? I mean, it's since like that. Honestly, since the first issue of Runaways, they've been teasing this relationship. So it's been crazy.
I'm gonna be really curious to hear Jay's point of view on that come Tuesday.
He's gonna be like, it was horrible, garbage.
I don't think that.
I just want Kat to stew. I like making.
I hate you. I hate you so much. I will say, I know I loved it because I'm not gonna hide that. Like, I love this freaking issue.
Well, I think we knew that from Tuesday.
Yeah,
I think we knew that from the moment we met you.
Exactly.
You would love
I
that.
knew it was going to happen, and I thought the way they did it was perfect. And I love the facial expressions that Anka did. Like, you could tell, like that when Nico. Well, I guess we could spoil it, but guys, spoiler alert! If you haven't read, Runaways,
God, that's going to make this own for too. Okay.
Yeah, spoiler alert! This is a big one. So I really.
This won't be airing until next Friday.
Okay,
so.
No, it'll be airing tomorrow.
There we go.
Yeah, that's right.
Jay.
I forgot. I'm sorry. That's right.
Spoiler alert then. So it actually is a spoiler alert. Nico and Carolina kiss, and I know, right? What?
What? I never would have thought.
Never. But I liked it. What I liked about it is, like, I liked how Nico. I love the panel where Nico's like not sure she wants to do it because she's like, she's nervous.
She leans
about
in
it.
and pulls away, and
And Carolina's like, oh God, this again. And then she does it, and I was like, that was just like perfect. I loved how they captured the emotions and like how Nico came out to Carolina. I thought was really like good and authentic. And it's something that she was thinking about, but she didn't know how to say it to her. So I just thought it was like a perfect scene. But I have a feeling Jay might say, and this is coming from a big Julie fan, after Julie, it's just like, was it quick? I don't know. But I think Carolina's was so much in love with Nico. She's like, oh my God, this is happening. So I think she kind of like forgot about Julie.
And I'm not going to let Kat know if that's true or not what I'm going to say.
That's something in my mind. I feel like if there's any nitpick, that would be the one. But I didn't mind it because we know how much Carolina loves Nico. So, but how about Brant? What you're allowed to say your opinions because Jay is just mean.
Well, I mean, I'm one that didn't see it like as far back as you did, and I fought it a little bit because I liked her and Alex together. Early on, I liked that. Huh?
You crazy?
I know. But I liked it, and so I was kind of on the fence about this whole thing, and I didn't know how I felt about it. But I have to agree with you that the way it was handled in this issue was pretty spot on. I thought they did a really good job. And it, like you said, it felt authentic. The emotion came through in every panel, and it felt real and natural, and like it was supposed to happen. So I didn't have a problem with it at all. come down to it. So yeah.
Did you like the issue?
Oh yeah, the issue was really good. I loved every part of the issue.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was a really good issue. It was one of the better ones, I thought.
I thought, for me personally, it was like a perfect issue. The only thing missing was Molly, but at the same time, I wouldn't want her to be shoehorned in. It's just like she didn't have to be in the issue. And again, we don't want to talk about the ending, but the ending changes so much. It's just like, oh my God, it's just like it's so exciting. If you're a Runaways fan, this was like a love letter to Runaways fans.
Totally, yeah.
Yeah, it was so good. It was perfect.
Mm-hmm. I completely agree.
I told Jay, because we had our Shattered Grid talk with Power Rangers, I was like, Jay, I'm just like so curious.
Yeah, I caught your Shattered Grid live show.
Oh, I'm glad you did. Yeah, we had a whole in-depth conversation about them, and Jay had some nitpicks of Power Rangers. I'm like, I'm so curious where Runaways is going to place on your list, because I thought that was an actual perfect issue. But again, that comes out of all three of us, I'm probably more of a hardcore Runaways fan.
Oh yeah. My nitpicks on Power Rangers though was more like, oh, if I was writing it, I would have done this, instead of, oh, that was bad writing, So I think there's a difference between, oh, I would have done this if I was writing it, as opposed as, oh, he doesn't know what the heck he's doing.
Yeah, of course.
I will say one more thing about Runaways, just to clarify. I feel like this issue changed my mind about things. about those characters in particular. So yeah, it just
in what way, if you could expand.
Well, I mean, like I said, I thought I liked Nico and Alex, and I liked that dynamic, and I didn't really see this particular relationship coming, or even that direction for Nico in particular. But this issue changed my mind on that, and it made sense, and it all clicked for me.
Yeah, I think especially, and I'm sure we'll talk more about this on Frontline Live too, but I thought that the opener was really good to show that. Where she's like, I think it's like where she says, I was so young, that's why I didn't know. And I think that's why it all clicked. Where it's like, you can understand why she shoved it. You're like, no! You know, she's 16. You don't know how you feel about things. And then 2 years later, she got jealous that she was with Julie and she lost what she could have had. And she's like, oh, okay, now I understand. And you saw it from the beginning of at least Rainbow's run. Like, when she sees Carolina for the first time, she looks at the picture and she's like, oh.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, exactly. So
it's good stuff.
Yeah, I gotta say this is the best Runaways we've had since Volume 1.
Oh yeah, for sure.
That I would agree with, because that's something I said before, prior. This is the best Runaways. This is the true sequel to Runaways.
I think
that's the true second volume.
I think it's kind of like in a rival with it right now for me, because of the artwork is just so. I like Alphona, but
which was really funny because Kat was like, I don't like this art when she first saw
you know what? I think because I was thinking I didn't like
design.
I didn't like Carolina's hair because she like had it.
It was all about the hair.
Yeah, I didn't like her hair, but now that her hair is like perfect, because the braid didn't work for me. But now it's.
I would say just when you saw the character design, she was like, I'm not really sure about his art. I don't really like it. And then when you saw the first issue, you was like, well,
he put so much detail into the designs. I saw on Twitter today that he took him a day to figure out Nico and Carolina's dresses. And I'm like, that's so perfect, because the dresses were so good.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he's put so much detail.
So in line with their personalities, too.
Yeah. And their faces, too. Carolina's just so excited to see Nico. She's like, oh my god. Nico's like, all right, I'm ready to go.
Just goes to show, don't, just because a studio releases like the designs from an artist, you can't always tell the art from the design.
Yeah.
Like, the concept sketches or whatever that they release. You really have to see it, that first issue, to see how the artist does. Because once Kat saw that first issue, she was in love with it.
Oh yeah,
so.
It's like one of my favorite titles, maybe of all time. It's getting there. It's just like I love it. It's like with Paper Girls for me. It's just like every month I'm just like, oh my god, I can't. It's never bad. Like there's times like I love Miss Marvel, but there's times where I'm like, oh, that was an okay issue. Like Runaways has always been like my number 2 or my number 1. It has not. There hasn't been a bad issue for me.
Yeah, it's been pretty consistent. I agree. I think there might have been one issue that was kind of slower for me.
Yeah.
I don't remember which issue it was, but yeah.
I think it was the only issue I've ever had with the comic was the Clara part where she had an issue and like it felt like another issue where they just felt like an add-on. As much as I love the Clara scene, it just didn't fit for that issue. I think has only been my complaint of Runaways.
So it's safe to say you like Runaways.
Maybe, right?
A little bit.
Just a little. Just a little.
It's okay,
And I think you could see that with, like, my comic. Like, I think you could compare the both, and you could see the influence of, like, teen stories like that. That's just, like, what I love, so.
Yeah. Totally. I mean, you and me, we've kind of bonded over that because we both kind of write those kind of characters and enjoy reading them.
Which is why I love Last Ember. Like, I'm just like, oh my god, I can't wait, because that's like what I love, And I can tell from your writing too, is what you love as well. And
exactly.
Because I feel like teens are the most, high school time is so interesting and the most interesting you could capture because A, it's like you're growing up to figure out who you are, and then B, you're in this place where you have all these different personalities and you'll never have that again. Like, you're going to hate that, you're going to love that person, you're going to be neutral, you might not know that person, and that's the only time you'll ever see it. Like college, you have a major, so you'll find people that are similar to you. When you're in a job, like, depending on the job you have, like, you're adults, so you're more mature, so you got to know how to act with people. But when you're in high school, it's just like, you have all these different personalities, and you don't even know who you are, so it's just such an interesting time to play with.
Kat,
Oh, my God.
some of us had jobs in middle school and before that.
Well, no,
I
you know
was
what I
working
mean.
before middle school.
Careers.
That's a
And
better
And
way
is
to
that
get-
even legal?
I was cleaning cow hearts out at 11 years old.
I
Okay.
was not
It's
doing
disgusting.
that at 11.
I
It
was,
was very disgusting, but it was money in my pocket.
Well,
I was dancing around with Chuck E. Cheese at 16.
16, like that's a normal age and a normal job as a teen, definitely. And that's an
Yeah,
interesting place
I
also.
wanted money. I wanted money. So
You want
I had
those cow
comics to
hearts.
buy.
Oh,
I
yeah.
had my comic addiction.
I did chores to get my comic money.
Exactly. Just-
It wasn't enough. You
now
know me.
We know Jay's
I'm
fault.
an
Exactly.
addict.
I know.
I had to feed my addiction.
Funny
Chores
story.
are rough.
I used to have this jar that I would put pennies in, like every time I got pennies, and I would stack them up, and I would literally take this jar of pennies into the comic shop every week and
They
dump them
love
out
you.
and count it. They hated me so much.
I need Amazing Spider-Man.
Exactly.
And people, that was before Coinstar.
Yeah, definitely.
I
And
never
I
went
did-
with coins. I did not do that.
And
Well, yeah, I'm
my-
saying, now they have Coinstar, so now you don't have to worry about doing that. You can just go to a bank
dump it in
Yeah.
or
and cash.
grocery store.
Well, it's kind of a
dump it in the
newer
machine.
thing. Yeah, that's like
Right.
maybe the past 10 years they've had that.
And in my
Yeah.
poor jar, I didn't have a lid for it, so I had like masking tape.
Oh, God.
just over
You
it.
couldn't even afford a new jar. That's
Couldn't
how
even
sad
afford a
that
new jar.
is.
It's because I spent all the coins on the comic.
Yeah, you couldn't get a new jar. That's a whole nother comic. Or, you could have gotten like pickles or something and to, finish the pickles and gotten the jar. But no.
That is true. I didn't say I thought everything all the way through back
No.
then. I just knew I had to have my comics, that's all.
We were all like that.
So, speaking of art progression, we talked about how your writing has progressed from issue to issue. I think Wayne's art has improved from issue to issue as well.
Sure.
Yeah, I was noticing that looking at as I was looking back through and looking at issue 4, and just noticing the differences, the subtle differences, like between issue 1 and issue 4, and how he's grown as an artist.
Yeah.
It's always interesting to watch an artist develop as well.
Yeah, it's interesting too because I've known Wayne for a very long time now, and with this issue though, this is the first time we worked every page we worked
Which is
together.
issue 5.
Issue 5. So issue 5 was the first time we worked like page by page. This is what we want to do. No, let's do that. Honestly, I'll say this: there's a scene with Invulnerable, and once the issue comes out, I'll reveal which scene it is. That was a lot less than what it is now, because Wayne said, because he's such a big Invulnerable fan, he said Invulnerable wouldn't do that. And I said, and I looked through it, and I'm just like, you're right, I think Invulnerable would do this. So there's a scene, it's not a character scene, there's just something that happens plot-wise that we expanded, and because of Wayne, because we worked together with that. And when it's hopefully released soon, I'll reveal which scene that is. But yeah, we've worked together a lot, and I think the webcomic really helped that. And it's cool because when we do the Q&As together too, we come up with like inside jokes. Skipper, which is Jay's favorite character, the dolphin, makes a cameo in every issue because of our Q&As. He's our mascot.
We named Skipper on a Q&A session.
Yeah.
We
That's awesome.
discussed him. We named it. So yeah, that was the whole thing, and I still want some Skipper stickers and stuff like
I
that.
hope so. We have to get.
I want a Skipper print or something so I can put it on my wall. I want to have Skipper I go to their school.
We need more Skipper fans. We only have Jay, so we can't do a print if only Jay's buying the print.
Hey, everybody's a Skipper fan. They just don't admit it.
Yeah, they're
I'm
hidden.
secure enough to admit that I like Skipper.
And I think it's actually, the page has been revealed. So in issue 5, Casey walks up to Stephanie's room, and Stephanie, well, I won't say why, but Stephanie wakes up, and one thing I'll say about Stephanie, and this will be a long-running joke, is that she likes her sleep. She's a very, when she's asleep, she's asleep. She's me, for sure.
She's so
She is me. Oh, no, I played that. Well, I would say I'm a light sleeper, so unlike me, she's like a heavy sleeper. You can't wake her up, at all. So Casey goes to her window, because she lives on the first floor, and knocks, and she's like, oh my God, why is this girl here? I'm sleeping. And she throws a Skipper doll to the door or to the window. And one thing that Wayne added too is the sound effect squeak. I was like, that's so cute. I didn't even think about that. So it's like a squeaky toy now. So it's kind of cool to see that. So those are things we kind of added and while we worked together. And again, the webcomic, we really did that. The Halloween comic, honestly, is very much Wayne. And we talked about that because Wayne likes writing a little bit more sexual stuff. And there's times where I'm just like, Wayne, we can't do that. We can't do that. We can't do that. We can't do that. Kids are reading this. Kids are reading this. But we have to. I'm like, nope. And again, I've revealed this story about Stephanie. Stephanie's bisexual, and then let's just say Wayne likes playing with that. And I'm just like, no, we're not doing that. Nope, we're not doing that. We're not doing that. We're not doing that. So,
nope. That's their own brand.
Nope. So we're not doing it.
Wayne, to go on off of what Brad was saying about his art growing, Wayne has said that on our last Q&A, which you could go find on Kat's YouTube channel, Hayden Claire Heroes, you can find out that he said because he's working closer with Kat, his art has been improving because he feels more connected to the characters
now than he was in the very
beginning. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now he feels more connected to them, so when he draws them, he feels like they're more like they're his now too, than just like, oh, this is work for hire. Now it's more like he's emotionally connected.
Yeah, he definitely has ownership of the characters now. There's times where he'll just like draw stuff that I don't even ask for and stuff he's not getting paid for. He's like, how about this? Look at this. How about if Vorpal did this? How about this and that and that? And then like even I think it might be in the trade that the Star Wars print where Wes is dressed up as Princess Leia. That was all Wayne. Like, we kind of figured that out.
That is definitely not like me. That's the one thing that Wes puts on
Jay draws the line.
Draws the line.
I'm Wes until he puts on that Leia costume.
And that came out of that was Wayne though. That wasn't like, ooh, I need you to do a Star Wars thing. Like Wayne just figured that out. Same thing for like the Stephanie like rock and roll print, which is my favorite print. Because that's like the first time we again like are revealing a little bit more about Stephanie. Like that whole entire outfit was him. So a lot of it is him now, and which is really cool to see. And we really collaborated, and we call each other the Jack Kirby and Stan Lee because it's just like we're actually collaborating. Where I feel like that's been taken away from comics. Like it's more of like here's a script, here's work to hire because it's such a business now, and that collaboration has been taken away.
That's good though. I mean, I like that you found that for yourself. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah, definitely. It's always good when the artist like really is passionate about the project as well. When, like you said, when it's just work for hire, and like Jay was kind of alluding to, there's not as much of a connection there, and you might not get all the little nuances and little touches that you would if you're more involved.
Yeah,
so that's really awesome.
Yeah, I think he's figuring out more about the characters, which is really cool. And I think you'll see with Casey in issue 5, she looks less angry. He's understanding that Casey's not always angry.
Right.
Casey's very angry in the first 4 issues.
Well, I think you write her very angry.
I do, but I don't know. She's starting to soften up a little bit. But also, like, now I think I play off of, like, she legit just has anger issues that she needs to work out.
Yeah, he definitely draws her with RBF.
Yeah.
For anyone who doesn't know that, look it up. Google it.
I make that. I don't know if I ever make it in the comics, but it's definitely going to happen one day where there's going to be someone that doesn't know Casey very well and be like, oh, yeah, I'm always like, she's always standoffish because she has, RBF. So
he definitely does.
Yeah. No, but she's a cool girl, She's like, once you get to know her, she's very nice, but she's not as approachable.
So let's talk about some of the rewards you have on the Kickstarter, because you got some cool stuff going on with this. You got action figures, you got T-shirts. I mean, I'm jealous about the action figure. I'll just throw that out there. But it's really cool. I mean, that's you got some cool stuff going on, and I think you got like some additional comics and stuff too. I don't remember.
We do. So if we meet the stretch goal, you will get Lumberjacks, the variant cover. So you'll get issue 1. It's our most recent comic of Short Fuse, which I just learned that this is not part of our Kickstarter, but I just learned our cover C has me on it, which is kind of fun.
Oh, wow.
It was like the Short Fuse team is on that cover because it's like what it is, like there's hidden people with hoods, and I'm one of them.
Oh, yeah.
So in the original cover, it's just like random people. And our variant cover for the Kickstarter, it's like Invulnerable, Stealth, Hotshot, like some of our Short Fuse characters. And then in cover C, it's just like Sean, me, Michael, who does Hotshot. It's just like you see us in the cover, and I thought that was really cool.
Is that drawn or photo?
It's drawn.
Okay.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so it's really cool. I just saw that, and I'm like, Sean, why you didn't tell me? He's like, I like keeping secrets. I like getting surprises for you guys. So that was really cool. I found that out this week. But anyways, that's kind of a tangent. But the stuff we have for the Kickstarter is obviously the PDF, which is only $10. And then $20 for the trade. I really don't think that's it's not a bad price because you're getting 4 issues, and you're getting a lot of short stories. You're getting the 2 mini comics definitely from our Kickstarter, which are both 6 pages each. You get the 6-page annual. You're getting the indie verse superheroine story. You get the web comic, which is about 10 pages. So, and I think we're having more stuff like Day Off, which Sean wrote, will be in that. So we have a lot of short stories in there. So it's not just the 4 issues. I think a lot of people are like, oh, I already have the 4 issues. There's stuff that if you get this, you won't have. Because especially the Indieverse story, I haven't even seen that. So,
oh, wow.
Yeah, I haven't even seen that one. Because I helped write that one. I didn't completely write the script for it because I didn't know all the heroes. So
I'm obviously excited to see that.
Yeah, I'm excited to see it. There's so many heroes that I love, like Last Ember, that's part of it. Spirit's Destiny. There's so many cool heroes there, so I'm really excited about it. And I think it's important too. It's female heroes. It's female heroes of diversity. There's all different types of heroes there, which I think is really important. So I'm really excited about that story. So yeah, that's one thing you get, and it's going to be a lot of pages. Like I said, it's not just the 4 issues. You get a lot of content in there. And again, with the webcomic, you get to learn a lot more about Stephanie and Wes, especially, and Casey. She likes to cook. Like, that's something I figured out. You know why I figured that out? Is because I was thinking, I'm like, what would Casey do, right? Or it's her hobby. And it's sad, but Casey never had her mom home because she was always working and she didn't have a dad. So she's like, all right, I have to, look online and see what I could cook for myself. And she ended up liking it. So that's something like I figured out my backstory for her, that she ended up liking cooking because she was a lonely girl who didn't have anyone to cook.
It works.
Yeah, so that's something you learned in the webcomic as well. She's like, what's your favorite show? Oh, Hell's Kitchen. So you get a little personality with her, too.
Yeah, that makes sense, too.
Yeah, Hell's Kitchen, exactly. Definitely, she would be a
the
David.
RBF, it's all connecting now.
She would be David Ramsey, for sure. She's a chef. She'd get a little angry. She'd get a little pissed off. But then she sees a kid. It's like, oh, darling, you want to be a chef? I'll teach you how to be a chef. So that's something that's been fun to figure out about her. But anyway, so you get that. You get a variant cover of issue 1. I've also not seen this variant cover, but it's by the artist of Super, who's like some of the best artwork in indies. Indie comics. And honestly, the first indie comic I reviewed was Super. And I got my first quote on a comic was from that too. So it kind of goes full circle there. So with our variant covers, we only sell them through Kickstarter and cons. And once we're out, we're out. So they are rare. So especially for an issue 1, I recommend you getting that. And you also get the t-shirt with that too. So it's $45. You get a PDF, a variant cover, a t-shirt, and the comic. That's a lot of stuff you're getting for $45.
And I will tell you, I had that T-shirt, the costumes T-shirt, and people think it's a cop shirt. I've had people stop me when on my day off when I wear it, and they're like, "Thank you for your service and all that." I'm like, "What?"
It does kind of look like that.
Yeah, like the first couple of times they were like, "Thank you for your service." I didn't know what they were talking about, and then I glanced down and I saw the invulnerable symbol. I'm like, did I think I'm a freaking cop or something? And I remember I told Kat that, and I was just cracking up. And it's every time I wear that shirt out, people say that to me. I'm like, I'm not a cop.
Invulnerable is
You should
the most...
put on. You should. I'm sorry. Kat,
Oh,
go ahead.
you go, Brett.
I was gonna say you should totally put on like this superheroic voice and go, "You're welcome, citizen."
Oh my god, yes.
Invulnerable in real life. But Invulnerable is our most patriotic hero, so there you go. That makes sense. And that's the red and blue you got in the costume, so that's cool. And also, what's kind of cool too, one thing you're gonna learn about Stephanie is that her dad's a cop, and I play off the Barbara Gordon thing. I'm gonna be playing off that her dad doesn't want her to be like a cop, but she really wants to because like she wants to help people, and that's how she goes into the superhero stuff. So I think that's really cool. So you get to learn that. So there's a lot, patriotic stuff for our book.
Yeah, and just a little tidbit about the vulnerable symbol. It's actually a fist.
Mm-hmm.
With
It's a
the
fist.
scars. Yeah,
I never
Yeah.
noticed
the
that.
fist. The lines are the fingers, and the stars on top are the
Oh,
knuckles.
the knuckles. Yeah.
Yeah, I found that out through our first Q&A.
Yeah, it's a really cool symbol. I mean, that whole costume, I applaud Wayne every single time I see it. It's a really cool costume. All I told him was just like, I want it to kind of look like Superman, and it should be blue and red. That's all I said, and then he came up with that. So, because I was like, I like artists to get their own freedom, and I think that's what Wayne's really liked with the project. Like, even with my scripts, I try to be not vague, where it's just like, oh, here's a head. Like, obviously I describe it, but I try to give wiggle room to the artist where I don't explain every detail. That way they can do stuff too. It makes it more fun for them, and especially because I know Wayne and we know each other, so I leave a little bit more room for him. And sometimes in the script, like, Wayne, you know what to do. You just write that because he knows what he's doing with that. So. So that's cool. So what other things do we have? Yeah, the action figures. So one's the custom action figure. So if you like those type of stuff, it's custom made, hand painted, handcrafted. But the other one is the manufactured one, which I think is so cool. It's like something you would see in a store. And if you are an indie company, we also have the biggest one, which is $1,000, which you get other stuff besides this, but obviously the biggest thing being if you have a superhero IP, we could put you in our Indieverse action figure line, which is amazing, I think. So if you are a business, cool. I think that's really cool. I think those are all the rewards, at least the big ones. Also, if you're an upcoming indie person or just comic book person, me and Sean have, for our second biggest tier, which is $500, meetings with us. So you'll have 3 Skype calls, I believe, and like couple emails where you could get our opinion on your book and about like the industry and like get a workshop with us. If you don't know, Sean is, he owns Short Fuse Media. That's his main job. And he produces 50, titles, 50 comics. So that's a big feat. And for me, I'm a journalist. I've been in the comic industry for like 9 years. Like I just say 10 years. I've been doing this for a really long time, and I write comics. So if you want, professionals looking at your stuff, I think that's a really good one, too.
How's it been working with Short Fuse Media all these years now?
It's been awesome. I mean, I was the first book, so it's kind of cool to see how much it's grown. Like, it was just us, and I think we seen it improve with our product. With, like, if you look at issue 1 to issue 4, it's, huge improvement. So that's something that's really cool. And getting to meet all these awesome people, like I talk to Sean all the time, like we feel comfortable enough just to call each other, which I think is a great rapport. Even like up and coming creators who ask for help, especially with conventions, is really cool. Like I've been able to coach people about how to sell at conventions, so that's been really awesome. Like that's something I'll be doing at Baltimore Comic Con a bit more because we'll have one of the creators who's never been at a convention, so I'll be helping him sell and teach him how to sell, because I feel like that, I don't want to say that's my expertise, but I'm a good salesperson, especially at conventions, so that's something I like doing and I like helping people do, so that's something that's cool with Short Fuse, is that we get to help each other in areas that we're really good at. So, having all these professionals and just having this really cool, comfortable community to talk to and bounce off ideas has been awesome. Obviously, like meeting Michael, like he is the convention guy. He's amazing, and he's done so many great stuff with that. And we've been able to collaborate with each other. Having an editor, Ramel's my editor for Like Valley Daughter. starting with this issue, I believe. I don't think he wasn't my editor for issue 4. So that's been cool because, that's different. You're not just speaking to the void. You're like, oh, wait. And not that Sean didn't help. Obviously he did, but he's doing other stuff too. He can't just he's the big idea person. He's not going to just focus on like the one little dialogue thing. So it's cool to have Ramel be another eye saying, oh, I like this and that and that. So that really helps as well. So it's cool. It's been a really awesome experience. I'm the PR director for it too. So it's a happy family, and that's something we need in comics, and I think is important to remember in comics. That's what we are. We all love the same thing, and I think this past I would say this past year, people have forgotten that, and I think we need to remember that again.
I completely agree with that. Yeah. You mentioned, man, I'm hearing a little echo. Sorry about that. You mentioned that you've been in the industry for 9 years, and of course we know this because we know you, but some of our listeners may not. What exactly have you been doing?
Yeah, so I actually started my YouTube channel in 2009. I believe that was it. Or maybe I started, I think it was maybe 2010 I started the actual reviews, and 2009 I started the YouTube channel. So maybe it's been about 8 years. So I've been reviewing comics ever since, and I still do on YouTube. And I worked for Newsarama right now, mostly interviews. So I do, interviews with like Power Rangers and all these different cool stuff with comic books. And I also, done San Diego Comic-Con and interviewed like Arrow and Supergirl and stuff like that because I love television too. That's my second love. So that's something, especially superhero television. So that's stuff I cover. I did reviews for IGN when they had their comic column. So that's why I don't work with IGN because they don't have their comic column anymore. But when they did, I did reviews for them. So those were the two big ones. I worked for Fandom for a little while. So that was cool. I actually had internships with New York One, so I have some broadcasting experience, and TV Guide I've done an internship with as well. I've done an internship with the Tick television show, so I have experience in that. So I like to dip my toes and get myself into a lot of stuff, which leaves me with limited time. I also podcast, obviously. We do the Frontline Live. We do Media Madness. I do the Legends Tomorrow podcast. So that's another thing I do. And then write the comics, PR work, comic conventions. I was just featured on DC Comics. That was really cool, looking at their digital service. So really, really cool stuff that I tried to dip my toes into.
That's awesome, and it's making me tired just thinking about everything you do. You mentioned the DC service, which is something we also wanted to talk about tonight. They just had like this big unveiling video news show thing with Kevin Smith and Jim Lee and all kinds of people last night, and they announced the date and everything. I know some of us got to watch some of it. I didn't get to watch very much of it.
It was a very long show.
I watched the whole thing too.
Okay, yeah, I was tied up.
Just Brant.
Yeah, just me.
I
just
actually
me.
left.
Brant and Kat did, and I don't think Kat got to watch it all. She had
I
to run out.
watched it all.
Oh, you did? Okay.
No, Cal watched it all because she was there up until the trivia because that's when I left too.
I
We
think-
both
The
left
only
at the
slacker.
same time.
There's only like 3
I
questions.
watched the trivia.
I think it was only 3 questions, and that's why
Yeah.
I was going to leave, but then I
There
was
was
like, oh,
one
let's
for
see how it goes.
Facebook, there's one for Twitch, and there was one for YouTube.
Yeah.
I figured that they were going to make it short because they ran that show a lot longer than I think even they were expecting.
Yeah, I saw bits and pieces. I saw the interview with Wiseman and Vietti. I saw Tiffany Smith on there. I saw somebody else, and I just didn't get to watch the whole thing. But interesting stuff, though. I mean, we finally got a date, September 15th, Batman Day.
Batman Day.
Batman Day.
So
Again, Batman gets all the good stuff.
I
Just
know.
saying.
I know.
Superman had
Or
enough,
saying
okay? Superman had enough.
So just 2 weeks in a day, right?
Yeah.
And then we get our streaming service.
I mean, you're just right now just going to be getting the content you've already seen, like
Sure.
yeah, which is
Yeah.
cool though. But I want my TV shows.
Well, yeah, and then the
Titans
first thing
is like
that's gonna
October 12th.
launch, yeah. is Titans, which is going to launch until after it premieres at New York Comic Con.
Yeah, which I'm hoping it's not on a
which kind
Friday.
of sucks because didn't they promise that at launch? What did they promise at
No,
launch?
they
Was it that or was it
promised
Young
Well, no,
Justice?
they never said. They said it will be on this year. That's all they said. They said
okay.
all of this year.
Which honestly is not that much of a wait anyways, so it just...
Oh, it isn't.
Yeah, and if you...
It's like a month. Yeah.
And if you're a DC fan, you'll find stuff to watch on there, which is cool.
I think it would have been smarter though to have that at launch. You know, something
for
original.
sure. But I think it's just I think the reason why, and I don't, I'm not. This is not coming from anywhere. This is my just prediction.
Opinion.
In my opinion, is that I think they have to figure out if the app is going to work before
That's
they
what
have.
I was thinking too. Basically,
If it can
they're
handle
using
it.
Yeah.
Probably if it can handle the influx of all those
You
people.
don't want
to
to
lose
do-
their app.
Yeah, you don't want a new television show and the app crash. So I think that's why
Right.
they're waiting a
Exactly.
month to see. All right, let's fix the bugs and
probably
then
smart,
let's
yeah.
launch
September's
the show.
going to be like the open beta testing, but
Basically,
basically
yeah.
people who paid for it, and they're going to test out. Well, let's see how it runs, and
Right.
they figure a month from then they'll be ready for the new shows
And
to
that
start.
happens with anything. I'm not just saying like, oh, wait, they're gonna screw up because of this. Not. It's just like it happens with any
Yeah.
app. It happens with anything on the internet.
Yeah, you don't know how much traffic it's going to get when it
Yeah.
first launches. That's everything. Like nobody knew that when look, Netflix has been out for how many years now, right? And when Luke Cage launched, no one expected Netflix for it to screw up their network. Netflix went down in certain areas because Luke Cage.
I think this happened with other stuff too. Like
Yeah.
I don't remember what show it was. It wasn't Luke Cage. It was another one where it's just like you're waiting. And it was 3:00. And it was like, wait, why is it not there? Why is it not there? Why is it not there?
I can't remember what it was, but it was.
It was
another
like
one,
I think it was a Marvel show. I don't remember. Maybe it was Orange is the New Black. It possibly was Orange is the New Black.
Yeah. Orange is the New Black. One of the earlier seasons, it was. That's right.
Yeah, I think it was one of the earlier seasons.
It was.
I remember waiting
You're right,
at
I'm
3,
not-
and it was like 3:15, and it aired. But you're waiting, and you're like, "What's going on?" It happens, though, so that's why they have
they
to
do
be
that.
sure.
The
I think
same
it was
thing.
one
I
we
mean,
were going. Oh, go ahead, Chris.
no, I was just gonna say it's the same thing when it comes. I mean, switching from media to games. I mean, they do tons of open and closed beta testing for the same
Yeah,
reason. So when
exactly.
and they never
Yeah,
release
stress
new
tests
stuff.
and stuff like
Yeah,
that,
exactly. They never release brand new stuff. Day one. They usually let the game play out for a bit before they actually do any new content. Same thing.
Which is smart. Like you definitely don't want Titans because a lot of people are interested. I won't say excited, but I'll say a lot of people are interested in seeing the show. So it's just, and especially because it's the first show on the streaming service. So it's just like a lot of people are going to be tuning in that second it launches on that app. So you want to make sure it doesn't crash.
There's going to be a ton of comics. There's going to be a ton of comics on there at launch also. So it's going to give a lot of people who haven't had the chance to read a lot of the bigger stories the ability to do that while they're waiting. I think it's a good idea. I think it's good to get it out there and let everybody have fun with it first.
And one thing I'll say, and because I believe this was on the show, so I could say this, is that it was very new watcher/reader friendly, which is
Yes,
really
it was.
cool.
When they were talking about the layout. And I like that they added the community into it, where there's a community tab where you can comment on
I
comics.
just hope it's not as bad as the DC boards.
And also not as bad as the chat
I'm just
that
saying.
day. That
we're not
they
going
need-
to see.
We won't
were
get into
smart.
it, but
No,
there
it
needs
was
to be
toxic.
But the thing is that I hope they learn there needs to be a moderator here.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
So,
Like
comb
DC,
through.
the DC boards didn't have really good moderation.
No, not at all.
It became the most vile thing in the message
Yeah,
board
it was a
community.
really hateful community. Yeah.
So I'm just saying, I hope it doesn't get to that because I love DC comic books, and this app I signed up for it. It dropped at 6:00 a.m. Pacific Eastern Time. They announced it. Which is 9:00 a.m. our time. I signed up for it the second I got the email. I didn't even bother with the press stuff for the site. I was like, screw the site. I'm getting my DC universe.
I got
care.
it 2 days after. Yeah, I got it immediately. I wanted to pre-order it. I think I pre-ordered it Sunday because I had to get.
Yeah.
I went through a
I
couple.
was like that day. I was like, nah, dude. I just said I put everything on hold. I was just like, click, 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 take my money.
I got it. I got it at Comic Con, and I got the DC Universe shirt, so I was happy about that.
Nice.
But what I did like, I mean, again, yeah, I agree. They got to moderate it. And one thing I like, because we have Comic Frontline and we have a Discord, is a lot of people were kind of trying to escape that chat and find people that were nice to talk with. So we actually on
Our
Frontline
Discord,
Yeah. Which
had
is
our
so
own live
great.
chat.
So if you
Oh, it
want
was
to
a
join
blast.
our Discord, you can.
Because whenever you don't have whenever you don't have people moderating, there's always going to be those trolls and those idiots that
Well,
just want to
especially-
get on there and do stuff.
Yeah, and
Right.
especially recently, and that's why I was mentioning this, is like it's nice to have a nice community in comics, because recently, and we won't have names at all because it's a whole different subject.
Right.
Yeah,
it's just been so toxic. It's just like these people are the most giant trolls, and it's just like and it obviously seeped here. It seeped in the chat. So I'm hoping they saw that and be like, okay, now we know these people are gonna be there. We'll go here and we can moderate it and have somebody.
Well, my wonder with DC Daily, because they're going to be doing that Monday through Friday.
Yeah, I was just going to say that is the new content. That is the new live content that they are giving us is DC Daily. Which, by the way, I just got an alert from Hyper RPG, the Hyper Heroes, which is where Hector Navarro, who's one of the co-hosts, is a co-host on that show too. They're about to do a DC universe discussion too. So anybody, because this goes up tomorrow, so anybody who wants to go check that out, go check out Hyper RPG on YouTube. Hector Navarro might spill some stuff. So
yeah, he's doing a lot of stuff. He did Nickelodeon, I believe, too. I think he does like the podcast for that, so it's kind of cool that he's doing a lot of stuff.
See, the one thing that I regret though, that it's not going to be on YouTube, because on YouTube you have that live chat. On the app, are they going to have the same thing? That's my question.
Well, we saw on the thing. Oh, you mean the live chat?
Yeah, are they going to have a live chat during Daily? Because obviously Daily is going to be a live show, right? Or is it going to be pre-recorded?
It might go through social media. They might also say if it's live, they can say go on social media, and like Kevin Smith was doing.
Hashtag this, hashtag that. Yeah,
because they were not reading that live chat. Like they were not reading that. They strictly said, they strictly said, go to like Twitter and go to social media and do hashtag DC Universe, DC Universe live stream. Hashtag us there and we'll read your comments on air. They weren't paying attention to that chat. They were paying attention to that social media.
They might eventually do like some TV shows, like reality TV shows, do like they'll flash up like a comment or a hashtag or whatever during the show.
Yeah.
That
would be cool. That would be cool because and Brant's thinking what I'm thinking. Big Brother does that. They do it at the bottom, like when someone gets evicted, they're like hashtag can't believe they did that, or something like that. There's a lot of things.
If they do it live and there's no live chat, obviously we'll have something on the Frontline Discord for that. I kind of do hope they do it live, but you got to think this is 5 days a week. Now it's a huge team. Obviously, they could separate it. They could separate the team into a certain amount of people a day for the 5 days. And
probably not all of them are going to be on there.
I don't know if it's going to be live. I think it's just going to be like
pre-recorded.
I think some of them will be live if there's a big event, because live, you saw that was a big production. They had to have a rehearsal. They had a lot of stuff have to go into.
And even Kevin Smith was getting a little messed up
who are all the co-hosts? We got Kevin and Harley Smith.
I don't know if Kevin's part of it.
Lee.
I think it's just Harley.
Jim Lee was just a guest.
Oh, you're talking about
Kevin's going to be on it. Yeah, Kevin's going to be on it.
Is he going to be on it?
Because he said his daughter was first approached.
Oh, first approached. Because I heard him say you're jealous. Oh, yeah, that's what I heard.
Yeah.
They hired him because of his daughter.
I didn't hear that part.
Reverse nepotism.
That's awesome.
You think like Kevin Smith is a big name. He got his daughter the job. She got him the job.
Yeah, I thought that was so cool.
Two Smiths.
Yes.
It's John Bowerman.
3 Smiths, because you got Tiffany Smith.
Tiffany Smith.
No relation.
No relation,
John
but they're both
Barrowman.
Smith.
Yeah.
John Barrowman, Hector Navarro.
The guy from Freaks and Geeks was announced.
Yeah, I can't remember his
I don't
name.
remember his name.
Sorry.
There was one from Instagram. One of the people that was on Instagram. There was Brad and Clark. They announced both of them together. The girl and the guy. And that's all I remember off the top of my head. I remember their first names. I don't remember their last names.
I remember Kevin.
Point being, there's a lot of them. So
it's a huge team.
Yeah, it could be like 2 people a day. Like say John Barrowman and Hector Navarro are on Monday.
Yeah,
Tiffany
I think that's how it's
and
gonna go.
Harley
Yeah,
Smith are going to be on Tuesday, you know, and then Wednesday is going to be Kevin Smith and the Freaks and Geeks guy, you know, and then Friday would be this person, you know.
His
like
name is
each
literally Freaks and Geek Guy. Like even
Well,
when
I
they
can't think of his name. I'm sorry, I can't think of his name. I haven't watched Freaks and Geeks since it aired.
yeah, it's been a couple of years since I've seen it, but maybe not since it's aired, but
Yeah, I haven't watched this since this aired. So I can't think of his name, and I did see it yesterday, and I just can't remember it.
Which
though.
one? There was a lot of people on Freaks and
there
Geeks.
it was the short guy. He was like the shortest one.
he was the shortest one on that page. But
That's
no,
all
I
I
like
can-
it. I like
I'm
it.
gonna look it up.
And
while
actually,
you
they
guys are
did
talking.
I'm
mention
trying
while they were promoting, they did mention there was going to be an exclusive documentary also that's going to be
Yeah,
heading
with
to the-
Perez, which is
Yep,
cool.
with George Perez.
Oh,
I'm
yeah,
looking
that
forward
is
to
cool.
that.
There's gonna be a lot of cool content. I think they really put the fans in, in sight first, which I think is so cool, and that's something DC's been doing since, for a while, but I would
Rebirth.
definitely say since Rebirth, especially.
Oh, yeah.
Where they have the DC
Oh, yeah.
fans channel.
Hey DC, Comic Frontline Zone 4, you can reach out. We'll accept a little olive branch. You can be part of the weekend crew maybe one day. We'll pre-record a video for a weekend crew. If you want to do a weekend DC
all
daily.
all Superman stuff.
Hey, that's me and Jay. That's
Yeah.
definitely me and Jay all the way. It's like
I'll go.
Speaking of
Superman Saturday. There you go.
Speaking of Superman, the Lois and Clark stuff, freaking awesome. That we're getting that, because I have been missing that since it left TNT.
I'm curious about Smallville though, because Hulu still has Smallville.
Yeah, I think their contract is probably for like another year or two, and his name is Sam Levine. That's the other host, Sam Levine.
Okay.
Okay.
But he was the
I
short one,
looked it
right?
up.
He was the short one from Freaks
Yeah.
and Geeks.
I had to look up Freaks and Geeks, and I just looked at their the cast pictures, and I figured it out with him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's cool that they had a very diverse cast that was announced for that. A lot of
I
different
think the cast
personalities.
looks good. I
love John Barrowman.
Oh, I love Barrowman.
Enthusiasm.
Love it.
I loved his enthusiasm on
Yeah.
the show. He was like, yes, he was like, this is,
Well, they
my-
got fans. They got
Yeah.
real fans that have a name.
He brought some comic books from his collection. He brought Mego dolls from his collection. Like, he brought stuff to show that, look, I am a real fan. I'm not just some actor who was on Arrow, and that's why I got this job. I got this job because I'm a true fan, just like every one of you guys out there.
I remember in an interview, I don't remember which interview, but I remember an interview he said, yeah, like next to my bed set, next to my bed is a DC encyclopedia.
Yeah, I think I've seen that interview too, Kat.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a huge fan, and I loved his enthusiasm. I was like, I'm in love with John
He's
Barrowman
like
now.
the best entertainer. Like,
Yeah,
even
he
if
has-
you know
Oh,
nothing
yeah.
about like my
Yeah.
mom, she I drag her. Well, she likes going to the Comic Cons, but like the first time I've ever dragged her,
She
like,
went,
whatever.
she went to his,
She went to his panel. Yeah.
Oh my God! I can see your mom at that panel because I've seen his Comic-Con panels, and let's just say John Barrowman knows one thing to do, and that's to work the audience in which he's at. So he will work an audience the way that audience wants to be worked.
No, it's true. It's so good. And my mom.
He's a professional showman.
No, he is, and that's something that's so fun about him. My mom always references like, did he talk about glitter this time? He was talking about farting glitters on the last one. It was so funny.
San Diego Comic-Con this year, he was a glittery Captain America.
Yeah, you shared that video. I watched that.
That was hilarious. I mean, I almost had an accident watching it. That's how hilarious. That's how much I laughed. It was that hilarious. I almost had an accident because he is just
enjoy watching him on DC Daily.
I can't wait to see what he does.
He'll be
Like
good.
I can't. That's one of the things. Like you think like Kevin Smith is a mega fan, John Barrowman is too, and so it's like. Because some people are like, oh, Tiffany Smith isn't really a fan.
No,
She's a true fan.
Yes, she
I've heard her talk about comics for sure.
And Harley Smith, she's
have
literally
you not watched her on
named-
DC
Yeah.
Access? I know you have, Jay, but
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
Come on, she's really
Well,
good.
even,
I love
that's
her.
how
on
she got
DC
the
Access.
job. She did like Smoes
Yeah.
No, and she was the comic expert for them. So she would always talk about the comic book, the actual comics for it.
I'm
So-
shocked they didn't approach Jay. I really am shocked.
Me
I
too.
don't understand.
I'm not that known. I'm not that known.
I
I'm
am
shocked. I'm shocked. Out of everybody, I was like, even to my mom,
Yeah, I
I was
would've
like,
done
Mom,
it
they
for
didn't
free.
approach Jay. They
I
didn't
would've done it
approach
for
Jay. Jay
free.
knows like every freaking thing in the world. That has like the hugest collection out of all of us. They didn't approach Jay.
I will
She's like, what
say-
about you? I'm like, but Jay knows more.
But you,
I would have done it for free. I told you,
Shit,
anything,
half
anything.
price.
If it's anything for DC, I would do for free just because it might lead to me writing Superman.
you never know,
I'm
right?
sorry,
I am
need a
not-
little money.
I am-
Ultimate
there's
goal.
no
I'll
shit-
do
that
everything
is
for
my-
free if
Jay-
it
If
leads
I
to Superman.
listen,
Yeah.
if I write a Superman story, even if it's like a 2-page short story, I could die
That's
and be completely
You can
content
write
with it.
Superman. I want half pay, so this way I have money. Period. It's okay. I
No,
don't have to
I
write-
would do it for free. I just want to write Superman. I don't care about it. It's just my love for Superman is so grand that I would write it for free. You can chain me up to a desk and feed me gruel like Oliver Twist. I don't care. I just want to write Superman. I don't care about anything else. Like Superman is my ultimate dream come true.
That's a fun topic. I'm gonna propose this. Since we're all writers here, what would be from DC and Marvel? You have to pick the obvious one and the not so obvious one you would like to write, and a little pitch for it. I want to hear what you guys would
For
say.
each
On the
company?
fly, right
For
now.
each company.
Get it.
So it'd be like obviously the obvious one. What would be your pitch for it? The least obvious one. What would be your pitch for it? From both Marvel and DC.
Okay.
I have mine. I've always had mine, but I'll wait till last. 'cause-
Well, since we
I've
are
never
thinking about
thought-
art, you
okay,
tell us
fine.
yours.
Well, Brent, you have yours.
I've got the obvious one.
Okay.
I'll do that.
Go for it. From both
and
DC and
obviously it would-
Marvel.
No, just for DC. I
Okay.
mean, for Marvel. I mean, obviously it would be Spider-Man. Of
What's your
course.
pitch for it, though? What's your
It would
twist?
It would be a what-if story if Gwen Stacy had lived and Peter and it wasn't always Peter and Gwen and never Peter and MJ. That's kind of just my
Nice.
short pitch. Yeah.
The Betty and Veronica, like it's the Betty and Veronica twist. Well, we all know my Betty and Veronica pitch for that, but I don't think did I ever say that on air, what I wanted to see. Maybe I only told you guys, but my Betty and Veronica pitch would be that if we had a what if story, they ended up together because like that's never been done, and I thought that would be really cool.
Mm-hmm.
But anyways, so that would be yours, Brant. So how about do you have any other ones?
I have to think about it. Go
I
ahead.
have an obvious for
Chris.
DC.
Okay.
I would definitely go for Superboy. I would do a mini, and this is Connor. If and when they bring Connor back, I would love to do like a 6-issue mini, delving deep into. See, they did it sort of already, but they didn't really go too far into it because he had moved in with the Kents and lived on Smallville. I would love if they do bring him back to kind of re-examine what his life is now, depending on if they do or don't bring the Kents back. And really working in his and Cassie's relationship because Jeff Johns did a really good job in Titans. I've never wanted to write known characters because I am always critical of my own writing when it comes to other writers who have done characters, well-known characters already. But if I was strapped down and said you must write one established character, I would do Superboy, and I would go with the route of the life of Connor Kent.
I love
that
those
would probably
stories.
That would probably be the Sir title. It would be Superboy, The Life of Connor Kent. It would be maybe a 6-issue mini, and each issue I would kind of examine something different. Like it
Like
wouldn't be like
Adventures of Superboy
6-issue
was
story.
kinda similar to
Exactly,
that. Yeah, that's a good
exactly.
one.
But each issue will have a different. Like one would be about him and Cassie. One would be him dealing with being Superboy. Another one would be if the Kents are alive, his relationship with his step parents or his grandparents. I don't know how, but he's Superman clone brother. So sort of parents, his relationship with the Teen Titans, if they did redo it, I would have
I
each
think
book.
they were named his aunt and uncle.
Okay.
In the comic
There
books,
you
they
go.
were named aunt and uncle.
So there you go. So I would have each book focus on a different aspect of Superboy.
Well, do you
But
guys have
biologically, they would be the mother and father because he is a clone of Superman. Well, biologically, grandparents because he is the son of.
Yeah.
He is the son of Superman, Lex Luthor.
And that would be an interesting book for me to write, the Lex Luthor side, because I would have to put Lex Luthor in as one of the 6 parts because he is the other half of Superboy.
Yeah, that'd be a fun one. So we have the obvious for Chris, we have the obvious for Brant, for DC, we have for Chris, Marvel for Brant. So let's do an obvious one for Jay.
Oh, gee, I wonder.
I could give you two obvious ones for
All right, so
DC.
do two. Well, no, you'll get one for DC and one for Marvel. That's the rules.
I was gonna say for Christmas, mine would be similar for Superboy. If I did Superboy, it would be about his time in Smallville High School. But for Superman, it would be an origin story, and I had the whole thing plotted out. It's like 6 issues. It goes from Krypton to Metropolis, and it fixes all the little continuity errors, including how he can be the last son of Krypton. Kara can still be the last daughter of Krypton, but we can also get Power Girl in the main DC universe without having to be from Earth 2. So it's a way to work all that out. Also, talk about the division between the wow, I can't think of the name of them there right now, and that's very embarrassing. Monel's race.
the
my
Daxamites?
God,
Daxamites. Yeah, I couldn't think of it for some reason. And
I lost it too.
Kryptonians. So the divide between those two species that would be explored in there. For most obvious from Marvel, of course, Captain America. And it would be an exploration of his time as Captain America, like how he perceives America and how he sees patriotism, and also how maybe everything you know about his origin is not exactly what you know about his origin.
Nice. So we got obvious for both Marvel and DC for Jay. I'll do my obvious for DC. Batgirls. I still don't know why that's not why is that not a series? Like, why has that not actually been done as an ongoing? You got Steph, Cassandra, and Barbara as a team.
Yeah.
Like, that's brilliant.
That would
Like,
be
DC,
awesome. Yeah.
come on. Because these characters have such, like, different personalities. It just works so well. Got Cassandra, who definitely would open up more because of these two characters. We're seeing that relationship with Barbara and Cassandra now. And obviously, we know it's with Steph and Cassandra. Steph is just like, let's go, let's do it, head first. And then Barbara's like, no, let's wait. She's like the mother of the group. So, like, I don't know why DC hasn't done that. That's my obvious DC. So,
Well, right now they're doing the rebirth. They got to bring back the continuity where
they
they were all back.
They brought it back. Well, that's true. But
Semi.
still, they can still call it something else to just have those three being.
Oh,
a team.
definitely. Oh, yeah, sure.
Like, I don't know why they haven't done it.
I'm surprised they didn't do that because they did it with the Outsiders from Detective. I'm surprised. Well, they didn't keep Tim's team together. That would have been cool if they kept Tim's team semi together somehow.
Yeah, especially because we
Right.
don't have a Birds of Prey right now either.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, that's very true. That would be a good update for Birds of Prey.
yeah,
Going off what both of you just kind of referenced, I'll give my obvious DC one,
let's hear it.
which is Tim Drake series with Stephanie,
Nice.
where they both relocate to a new city to start a new outside the Bat family.
I like it. Yeah, and
So
and
Tim
obviously
Drake
it
wouldn't be
continues.
Red Robin. So Tim Drake would be somebody new. You'd
Oh,
reinvent
she
Tim
could
Drake.
still
He
be
could
Red
still be Red
Robin.
Robin.
Yeah.
Okay.
And just-
No, I'm asking if you'd reinvent Tim like they reinvented Dick.
Maybe if I could think of something
Cool.
clever, but
Signal.
yeah, something cool.
Signal.
No
2.
signals. No stoplight.
Spoiler in the stoplight.
There you go.
Oh, God.
Spoiler and warning. There you
Yes,
go.
spoiler warning. I like
They
it.
had the freaking chance to make a cool character, and they called him Signal.
Signal. Yeah.
Oh no! But so that's your obvious for DC. So we're at obvious for Chris for Marvel.
Wolverine. The problem is, though, with the way the X-Men are right now, I don't know what kind of story I'd pitch for Wolverine. Maybe a story when he left. Like, I would have to go back. I would have to do like a past story because I don't know what the hell they're doing with him now. So probably when he first leaves Weapon X, dealing with just losing his memories and whatnot, and like a kind of not a miniseries, like maybe an ongoing, where at least I'd start the first couple of volumes and then somebody, please God, take it over. But like kind of like a Wolverine in the past kind of deal, like a year one from Weapon X with the adamantium.
So my obvious from Marvel would be Spider-Girl, obviously. Yeah, with May, I would have her friends find out. That's always been something that I've always like. Why don't they know? Why don't they know?
What about the father? Would he come back?
No, the dad would be. I would keep Peter dead. I would keep the continuity of that because I think there's a really cool emotional story to tell there that hasn't been dug into. I think Spider Island, the backstory that Tom and Ron did as much as they could. But I would really want to see her like take up the legacy and feel the weight of it because that's something that her character never had to deal with because she had to deal with Spider-Man's legacy, but she never felt like obviously like I'm Spider-Man. She's such a different character. So now I think she has to figure out like, all right, I am Spider-Girl, I am May, but like my dad's dead. How do I honor him? So it's kind of I think it would be interesting to see that. So I'd keep Peter dead. So, and I would also get May a job. I think that'd be kind of interesting because it's because it gives like the Peter Parker thing. It's just that, he wanted to get money for the house. I think it'd be kind of cool for May to do that as well. Kind of, try to get a job and Mary Jane's like, no, you don't do that. So Mary Jane kind of becomes the Aunt May of the story in that way. So yeah, I've always had a lot of ideas for May. So that's the obvious for all of us, and now we're going to go to the not so obvious. So who has some for Marvel and DC?
I have no clue for Marvel. I honestly don't really want to write for Marvel.
I have a problem with DC. I think anybody I pick would be obvious.
Yeah, all right. Well, Superman's your most obvious. So whoever else
Superman.
is,
I agree with Kat.
Yeah, so if it's not Superman related, then it wouldn't be obvious.
Okay.
And also say not Flash related.
That was my next.
Yeah,
you ruined it, Kat.
Okay. A Bat Family book.
Ooh, all right. Who's gonna be? What's the pitch?
The pitch would be about sort of like what was going on in Detective, where they're like forming that team in the very beginning. Where it's sort of like them networking more. So it would be about that, but it will also have more of a mystery aspect to it. So it will actually be detectiving, have to use their detective skills. Each arc would be a different focus on a different character. So like, or a group of characters. So like the first arc may be, Tim and Dick teaming up to solve something. And then the next one may be the Batgirls all teaming up to do something. And so it would be each.
And then we have a crossover with our books. And
well, just say like I don't mean like it would be Batgirls. It would just be like those girls. Like the Barbara, Cassie, and Stephanie teaming up to do something. And it might be like so it would be something like that. I guess that would be the most least obvious, but my Flash one was better.
Well,
my Flash one was straight up CSI.
All right, you could say the Flash one. Go
straight up CSI. Straight up CSI, where Barry actually remembers he has a brain and he is a CSI person, and it will play in all my my love for procedurals.
There'll be like a theme song in the beginning somehow.
It would just play off my love for procedurals and mysteries and solving crimes, but also throwing supervillains and stuff like that. So,
how about your Marvel one?
My Marvel one would be, and this is the team that's currently in the Marvel universe, but they're like forgotten. The next Avengers, based off the characters from the animated movie, they are still in the Marvel universe. They never left.
They showed up like maybe a year or two. Like they showed up somewhere. I don't remember where it was.
It was Jonathan Hickman's Avengers, and they never left.
Oh, maybe it was that. I feel like they showed up somewhere else too. Maybe it was like one of the events. I feel like they showed up in.
And I want to. It would be essentially my Young Avengers, but with the future of it, and they will have to be preventing something that's going to be happening. So they're going to try to fix something that went wrong in the timeline. And there's also going to be a new Iron Lad introduced.
Now you want me? I want to write a freaking Young Avengers book down. It's like, oh, why didn't I pick that? I know.
See, I did figure Young Avengers would be too obvious for me because I love that series. So
that's a good one. Yeah.
I went with the next one.
I can't pick New Warriors because I think that would be
obvious.
obvious.
Yeah, no, that's too obvious.
Yeah. I couldn't have picked Scarlet Spiders either because
that's too obvious.
That was very obvious. It was going to be based in Philly though.
For my Marvel, I would go with a character named Gravity that came out a few years ago.
Right, with
Sean
the
McFeely did
Rana.
it.
Oh yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, so I would. I don't know what exactly I would do with him because they never did much with him.
Yeah.
I think I would like re-explore his life and just kind of
Reinvent him. You'd be able to reinvent him, basically.
kind of reinvent him, give him a maybe move him out of New York like I was going to do with Tim. Just give him his own city. Kind of start
moving
fresh.
everybody out of New York.
Hey,
Everybody get out.
That's right.
Well,
That's
New York is crowded.
Help me.
It is.
Crowded.
Get me
There's
out of
plenty
here.
of other cities. I'm moving
Yeah.
to Texas. Why not? Get some superheroes here. But yeah, that's what I do. I'd like give them the Spider-Man treatment almost. Kind of scale them down, give them a supporting cast and all that stuff.
How about your DC?
I'm going to go off to something that was in that weekly 52 series and put Booster Gold and Adam Strange together.
Oh,
Ooh, that would be interesting.
Yeah, traveling through time with some kind of bandits chasing after them or something of that nature, kind of.
here's the thing, Brent.
What?
Will they be traveling in time? Because that just like inspired me with an idea for it. Would they be traveling in time because they can control it, or would it be something like how Adam Strange travels due to theta beams, like where he doesn't control when they leave?
I think it would be unstable, and somehow they're stuck in the time stream, and they're jumping here and there, kind of like
That would be
sliders.
really cool.
Yeah.
That would be really cool to see, because like the theta beam type thing where he doesn't realize that he's going to be leaving, almost like Quantum Leap. I can see it.
Yeah.
Those are
There's a
those
lot
are
of
That would
good.
be really cool. I want to see that.
So Chris, did you go for?
I have DC. There's nothing I can think of at the
All right,
moment.
go for
Marvel.
DC.
So DC, I would do they would have to do a Justice League disassemble event. I'm sorry, I pull a Brian Michael Bendis here. We're gonna disband the Justice League and then bring them back. But I bring back the Grant Morrison team, and I like what DC did with the Villains Beach blanket with the Crime Syndicate.
They're all in
So the
swimsuits.
first
and-
Wait, I have to ask you a question. Chris.
Yeah.
Will the reveal? Will the team be exactly like Grant Morrison's and be Kyle and Wally, or would you replace it with Hal and Barry?
That's a good question. I didn't even. Yeah, I would no. You know what? I would bring Wally in. I would leave Wally and I'd leave Kyle because I like both of them on the team.
Okay.
I would keep both of
All
them.
right. Just
But-
had to ask because what people think of is just the Big Seven, and
Right.
the Big Seven has changed recently
Because Barry's back, right?
Barry's back, and
Well,
Hal's back.
disbanded. See, the thing is, I'm doing an arc to start a new ongoing. The disbanded would something bad will have to happen. The Justice League saves the day in the end, but in the end they separate, and Batman's the one that breaks them apart. And then the ongoing, when it starts, the Crime Syndicate, now led by Night Owl because he has full control over them, attacks Earth Zero, and they need and now Earth Zero needs the Justice League back. So you get the original 7 reform, fight the Crime Syndicate, and realize the world needs a Justice League, and then we kind of get a Justice League Unlimited feel at the end of this arc. And an open invite. That's why I said Wally can be with Kyle, because you'll have Wally, you'll have Barry, you'll have Kyle and Hal, because it's going to become like a Justice League Unlimited book after the first arc, where the team will you'll have members tagging in and out each arc.
So basically, it's Avengers.
No,
Justice
it would be.
League.
I think it would be done a lot better, because if Justice League
let's
Unlimited
hope.
did it well.
That's a good one though.
But as far as Marvel, I have no clue. I honestly, there's very few characters I want to write for Marvel, and every character I've thought of while everyone was talking, it's obvious.
well,
So,
which one do you feel like was the least obvious of those?
least obvious.
No, I don't think that's obvious. Not like you're.
No,
every,
he said.
Well,
No,
I'm
he didn't
thinking-
say. No,
I
he
didn't say
said.
anybody yet.
I think you
I'm
said
thinking
is
least-
B. Oh, I think you said is beast obvious. I'm like, I never.
He said, least obvious.
Oh, I heard beast.
I would do a mini, maybe bringing back the new Avengers because I really liked Adamantium Agenda. I would do a mini where I bring the new Avengers back for another.
I see Chris likes a lot of minis. He's like, I
you
don't
like
want to commit to a whole
teams,
No,
series.
Justice League was ongoing.
Yeah,
Excuse me.
Justice League was an
ongoing.
ongoing. I was saying, but everything else was like, I want to just do a mini. I don't want to
Wolverine was
commit to a
ongoing.
series.
No. Wolverine was ongoing too.
Oh, well, it's okay. I thought it was a mini. I thought you said.
No. Year one Wolverine, like after the Adamantium, like
Oh,
it would
okay.
have the title would have to be Adamantium, maybe Adamantium Files or whatever, but it would be an ongoing, kind of like the way they did Weapon X.
Let me break in here real quick and just let Kat know that you just got another backer and another $50.
Oh, awesome! Thank you.
Cool.
We're getting there. We're getting close.
And Kat, here's I want to change mine from
Okay.
Detective.
Uh-huh.
From the Bat Family, least obvious, Jesse Quick book.
Oh, that's good.
Okay.
That's good. See, that would
It'll
have been
be
too obvious
her.
for me.
It'll be her with her husband. She'll be married in it because she, her and Our Man are, and she's gonna be. It's gonna be her father is reaching out to her from the Speed Force.
Oh, that's cool.
He's missing, and she has to find him.
I
That's
like
nice.
that.
So
Yeah.
That's
it's
awesome.
gonna be that would be the first arc.
That's really
and-
cool.
When I mentioned Philadelphia for the Scarlet Spiders, I was like, Jessie freaking Quick. Why didn't I think of that?
Right? Come
Like-
on.
She's the Philly girl. I can write the heck out of a Philly girl.
Yeah, oh man, that's awesome. I wish they gave Jessie Quick more love. We saw a couple battles with her. See, I can't pick Jessie because that'd be too obvious. Mine would be DC's a little easier because I don't talk about DC as much as Marvel. Carol Ferris. I would make a mini series for her.
No,
I
that's
gotta pick.
obvious.
No, I
That's
gotta pick Carol.
obvious.
I
That
gotta
is
pick Carol.
obvious.
Okay, let me think then. Let me think about
You
DC.
always say you want to write a Carol because you want.
Always like,
Yeah, I
where's
love
Carol?
Carol. I gotta
Where's
do Carol.
Yeah.
Where is Carol? I want to do Carol so bad. Okay, so that's I got all right. DC, I gotta go back to that. Not obvious for DC. I wouldn't make a team book. Maybe a Connor and Tim book, like their friendship.
Okay, that's not obvious.
Yeah,
for you. Okay.
I would pick that.
That's acceptable.
Yeah, I'd pick.
That's acceptable.
I'd do a bromance, I would say like a Jughead Archie version of like Tim and Connor just being bros. I'd totally
That
do
would be
that.
cool.
Yeah, I'd do that. So that's less obvious. But I love my Carol. I feel like it's less obvious for DC to do that though, because DC they just don't give the love.
For DC, yeah, but we're talking about your personal
I know.
less
and
obvious.
Marvel's really hard because what I would pick is the Power Pack. That's too obvious. Like back in the day when Julie wasn't showing up places, that wasn't obvious because I didn't talk about her. I would pick NYX. We have not seen them in a really long time, and I think it's really cool to kind of see that segment of Marvel, like homeless kids of New York. I think it's such an interesting
and that's
topic.
connection to a character that you are very passionate about, which is X-23.
So bring back
That's
X-23,
good.
who's changed too. X-23 has changed as a character, so it'd be kind of cool to see her back for some reason in that scenario. So yeah, NYX, you always got to give more love to that series. That's my less obvious one.
I just have to ask, are you bringing the pacifier back?
Oh, man, right? I don't know. Oh, you know what would be another less obvious book? I got to go with this. Firestar. That'd be kind of cool.
That would be really less obvious for you.
Yeah.
I couldn't say that because that's New Warriors.
That's too obvious.
Anything for New Warriors that would be too obvious.
Because I always said with Firestar, one thing they focused on a little but never really fleshed out was her cancer. And I think that's such an interesting story. And she's a character. One reason I love Dazzler is because she's a character that doesn't really interact with the X-Men. And Firestar was that character too in a way. Like she does it now, but she was obviously in Amazing Friends and stuff like that. But like she was a character did her own thing. Like she hung out with her family. And that's not an X-Men thing. After you're 13, you just leave your parents. But Firestar, she went to college and did those stuff. So I think that's really cool about her character.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
And another Marvel cat would be Ricochet.
Okay, that's interesting. Yeah, that's interesting. Also they need to flesh out Arana. I do think they need more. I haven't read that since maybe 10 years ago. No, longer than 10 years ago. I think I was in grammar school since I read her series. Loners. Oh, but that's Julie, so I couldn't pick that.
Oh no, I thought that's what you were talking about because
No.
was in there.
No, yeah, no, I couldn't pick that though. But because see, if I did a Ricochet book, that'd be different. But if I did a Loners book, Julie would have to be in it. So that'd be too obvious. Maddie Franklin. That'd be kind of cool, but she's dead now, right? She's still dead?
She's dead.
Don't know.
She's dead.
She's like
I
died
think
by
she died
twice.
again.
Yeah,
I think she died again. I think she died again because she was brought back, and I think the clone died.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure she's dead. They never flesh out that relationship with JJ. It's so good.
They started to in the
they did.
In the what was it called? The clone conspiracy, and then they just killed her.
Yeah, they killed her. The only time they ever really did it was Jessica Jones. Actually, Jessica Jones did a really good job at it, but then they stopped. So sad. Oh well, poor Maddie.
That was an awesome little discussion. Thanks for the suggestion.
Yeah,
that was fun.
I thought that'd be a cool way because we were talking about writing, so I was just like, why not?
yeah, totally.
Yeah, so that'd be a fun one.
Just give one real thing. I just got one more question about DC Universe for each of us. Okay. Something new. The thing you're most looking forward to that's new coming out from DC Universe, and the thing that is going to be on at launch from
least
DC
expected and most expected. No,
something that's already on there, already established DC stuff that's going to be on there at launch.
We're all going to at launch, not
Batman
new shows.
For me, I know right away it's going to be Batman the Animated Series. I'm going to rewatch the hell out of that.
Well, we don't know if that's going to be on there yet.
Yeah,
it is.
No, they said Batman the Animated Series.
Yeah, it's going to be on there.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that they said it that long.
Yeah.
Looking forward to
that was doing the. Oh, sorry, Chris. I just want to say that was doing the whole Batman. They were like, since it's Batman Day, you can watch Batman the Animated Series.
Cool.
You can watch this. You can watch that.
I remember Justice League, but I didn't remember Batman.
Yeah, they listed a bunch of Batman stuff. Batman Beyond.
Oh yeah, Batman Beyond's going to be on it too. That's right.
The Batman movies. The early movies, except for Batman and Robin.
We're not talking about that movie.
I was like, they didn't even name that movie. They were like, 1989 Batman Returns, Batman Forever, and then they went to another
Dark Knight Rises. Oh,
I was like, you just skipped that one?
George Clooney. No, we don't know him. Who?
Guys, so Chris, it would be the classic stuff would be Batman the Animated Series. What would be the new stuff with the new content?
Swamp Thing. I want to know what they're going to do with Swamp Thing.
That's an interesting choice.
I'm very interested in seeing what. I hope it leads to a Justice League Dark live action series.
We'll see. I mean, the movie's probably not happening.
Or an Animal Man series and do what they did in 252, the red and the green.
Where the hell is Animal Man? I miss him.
Who cares? Put him in now. You've got the time.
Who cares? Oh, that's good. I guess for me, I guess Batman the Animated Series because that's so rewatchable. And I don't want to say Young Justice because that's the obvious reason. I'm not going to say that, and I'm going to go with the other obvious answer, which is Stargirl. Can't wait for Stargirl. I'm so excited. Oh man, that's going to be like my runaways for DC.
And Brian.
Well, I mean, I don't want to be broken record with Batman the Animated Series, so Lois and Clark's going to be on there, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. I haven't seen that forever, and I used to love it, so I guess that. Lois and Clark, and Kat won't say it, so I will. Young Justice.
I mean, it's just too obvious for me.
Brand just took mine. Those are my two choices, Lois and Clark and Young Justice. Those are just my two choices. Like, when I saw the DC thing, and I saw like Lois and Clark, I was like, yes! I was like, yes, it's coming back. I love that. Like, I have so many fond memories. Like, again, if you have the DVDs, that because this is something we were talking about on chat. I think it came up on Shattergrid for some reason.
It did.
About diversity.
Yeah.
And listen to the commentary on the very first episode of Lois and Clark. You'll find out some stuff about the actors and all that. And because Kat did not know this, Dean Cain is half Asian. Mm-hmm. And not a lot of people know that. But I love watching the the commentaries on it, and I must have watched that commentary and those DVDs I think it's the 4 seasons of Lois and Clark. I must have watched them like 70, 80 times each, and I watched it on TNT when I could, when it was on air. But yeah, I get to watch it anytime I want again. I don't have to worry about ruining my DVDs by wearing them out. I was really worried.
That's VHSs. That's not DVDs.
Right.
Well, no, you can actually burn a DVD. You can wear out a DVD. Yes, you can.
Well,
trust me, I've done it.
Maybe only Jay watches stuff that much.
I played a DVD enough to where it screwed up. Trust me, I saw it.
That has never happened to me.
It's like I've rented them from like Redbox or something, and sometimes they won't play because they're all scratched up.
Oh.
Yeah, you don't have to worry about any of that.
It's like a CD.
Never knew that. Well, I mean, with CDs, I just always thought, because I don't take care of my CDs or anything, so I always just thought, like, oh.
Like, here's a coaster.
Yeah.
It's the right CD.
Honestly, like, I'll just put it in a container that's not supposed to be there. I'll flip it upside down. Like, it's just like, oh, that's how it got scratched.
I'm very careful with my DVDs. I'm like Sheldon, where my DVDs are always in the right case. You're not going to pick up, like, Batman Forever and have, Fast and Furious in there. Like you're going to have the right ones, and they're all just like my comic books are all in alphabetical order. They're separated by genres.
I'm bad about that, putting it in the wrong case. I do it all the time.
I'm very anal. You know that about me.
Yeah, I know. So do you know his actual last name, Dean Caines?
Oh yeah, I do know it.
Chris, do you know?
I think Chris said it. Oh, okay. I do know Dean Cain's actual last name. Let me just think about it.
No, I don't remember. Oh, shoot. They mentioned it on Comic Book Men, I believe.
Do you know, Kat?
I missed it. What? Sorry.
I do know
Dean Cain's real last name.
Oh, no.
It gives away his parents.
Ethnicity. Yeah. His name is Dean Tanaka. Dean George Tanaka.
Oh, he's Hawaiian?
No. I think his father. I believe his father is
Japanese
and Korean.
It says he's French, Canadian, Irish, Japanese, and Welsh.
Oh, okay.
Japanese. Okay.
So
I knew he was mixed. I know. I knew Dean Cain was hired because he has Japanese in him. Because they told him that his eyes look exotic because of his Japanese in him. And also he was like, I'm hairless from like the neck down, like my chest doesn't get hairy. And they were like, yes, because we don't want Superman with hair sticking out of his suit. We don't want like a big hairy chested Superman. We don't want to have to shave him all the time. So that was like a big selling point for Dean Cain to get it, was that he doesn't, because of his dad's being Japanese, he doesn't have chest hair.
And Kat, another interjection. You got a few more funds there.
Oh, really?
You're 103 away now.
Oh man, this is like good luck.
Zone 4's doing it.
Yeah, it's not even
live. The that only we can hear is doing it.
Exactly.
Yeah, somehow.
Magic.
Let's see.
Well, Kat said that she was doing Zone 4, so there's the connection.
I bet on that Zone 4 they're talking about this so much, I'm going to get so excited I got to back it.
They're actually like asleep right now. They just woke up. Wait, someone's on Zone 4. I should go to this Kickstarter.
Yeah, exactly.
Someone upped their pledge. We're so close, guys. Maybe when this is released, we'll be that next stretch goal. That'd be kind of cool.
Maybe. That would be really cool.
Yeah, thank you for letting me. Brant knows my Kickstarter more than I do.
I mean, I had to have it open when we're talking about it.
I'm glad.
So, I don't know.
Yeah. I like being surprised. I always have it open, so it's just nice. Like, ooh.
Yeah. I know how it is because I was watching mine like a hawk.
You have to, because you have to see what updates you gotta make. Yeah. We promise you, we're not trying to spam. I tell this to Jay all the time. I'm just like, I feel so bad. I feel like I'm just like I hate talking about it all the time because I don't want to spam people. Yeah. And it's just like, it's so bad. But it's like, that's what you gotta do when you do a Kickstarter. Mm-hmm. It's like, it's what you gotta do.
If you don't promote it, it's not going to get out.
Yeah, no one's going to find that link on their own.
Yeah, exactly. Just like being at a convention saying, hey, have you checked out my book?
Exactly. Oh, you haven't? cool.
Here's what it's about.
Yeah.
Look through it.
Spend the money.
Yeah,
Buy the variant.
Buy the
four
variant,
copies.
exactly.
We have action figures too. Come on.
Buy the figure.
You know, it's so funny. I have this inside joke with my friend Luke because the action figures for the custom action figures aren't for sale, but I always like show them because people are impressed by it. So Luke's like, wait, so they were not for sale? What do you say? I'm like, well, you could check it out. I mean, if you want to like pay $200, you could pay, because that's like how much it is for like I've asked Sean before. He's like, yeah, you could like probably sell for this, and then it's like, oh, if you want it for that. So it's kind of funny. So the action figures are not for sale, but they are on the table until those manufactured action figures come out. Those will be for sale in a regular action figure price.
Right. So thank you again, Kat, for coming on the show. It's about time
for inviting me.
Yeah, absolutely. Our pleasure. And hopefully we'll get you on again sometime.
Oh, for sure. This is fun.
Yeah, it really was. And one more time, tell us where we can find Like Father, Like Daughter.
You can go check out the Kickstarter. Just put it in the Like Father, Like Daughter trade. Also, we have a Facebook page, Like Father, Like Daughter. Short Fuse Media has a Facebook page. I have a Facebook page, Comic Uno. And you can follow me.
Just want to interrupt you about the Facebook page. There's also an event going on for that.
Yes.
That's a contest.
Yes, there's an event. Thank you, Jay. There's a contest. If you backed it up, go on the event page, say I'm all in, and share the project on your Facebook, and you will be all in for every single title Short Fuse has ever printed. You'll get the print editions if you win. So we'll have a raffle at the end. And it's easy. All you gotta do is go on. If you backed it up, go on Facebook and just say I'm all in and share it. So have a couple entries. So that'd be really cool if you guys could do that. And then also on Twitter, you can follow me at Comic Uno. It's where I post a lot of my stuff as well.
Oh, that's really cool.
It's in Like Father, Like Daughter Twitter. LFLD.
Yeah, which is our Facebook updates pretty much. So either one.
No, I'm saying because I know there's a Twitter for Like Father, Like Daughter also.
You definitely go check that out. You can follow me everywhere. And obviously Comic Frontline, you should all check us out there.
Yeah, definitely.
Join the Discord. We'll be talking in depth about DC Universe.
And as this airs, 2 weeks left in the campaign. Hopefully you've reached the stretch goal and you're on to the next one by this time. And so
it grants good luck, I think. So I might just stay on here all night.
Let's just say hoping that the Zone 4 listeners tomorrow hear this and they go and they back that and they get that stretch goal open and then they bring out the next
stretch goal
review.
There, and we really want this stretch goal to happen. Yeah. So you might want
to open up the next stretch goal. That's what I'm talking about. Like get to the next stretch goal to open up really that, unlock that. Because if you unlock, because after this stretch goal, the next stretch goal unlocks. After you beat this stretch goal, that's when the next one unlocks. So unlock that next stretch goal because it's going to be more fun for the Like Father, Like Daughter crowd.
Yes,
absolutely. And then keep backing so you can reach that stretch goal.
Yeah, and then also keep backing the show, my publisher, and everybody else that. We have a lot of fans, so we could get that issue 6 for you also start to be made. That way we could get that out for you quicker, because the more people that back it up shows that, okay, cool, we could do another one of these and do it faster, or maybe combined issues in a Kickstarter, because we know we can make this amount of money. We could do 2 issues in this Kickstarter. So that's how you get more Like Father, Like Daughter, is if you back up the Kickstarters.
Absolutely. Awesome. All right, so the rest of us are going to do our coming up, and going on. Chris, what do you got going on?
Right now, actually, it was through family donated to me to play. I will be moving Destiny 2 Forsaken will be streaming on Twitch when it drops on September 5th. I'm mentioning this in advance because I still have to do the last DLC from Year 1, so that will be going up on Twitch at some point soon, and I might actually do a review on Frontline for Year 1. Speaking of reviews for Frontline, by the time this airs tomorrow on Saturday, my Sea of Thieves review, yes, I finally freaking made it to Pirate Legend. My review will finally be up for that game because I reached the end game, or the quote unquote character endgame. So I'll have my review for Sea of Thieves up tomorrow as this airs. My channel, the comic review, every Monday or Wednesday, depending. 529 Studios is now part of the Last Ember Press newsletter. Definitely, if you are not subscribe to the newsletter. Brant just put one out. I think I read it today, this morning. I had a blast reading it. Brant's been doing amazing stuff on the newsletter. Anyway, you're missing a lot of good content, but the good news is you can go back and read the other ones when you subscribe. So subscribe. You also get a free Celestial Falcon issue #1 digitally. And you get to hear from Brant every week. And you don't have to back one of his Kickstarters, but back his Kickstarters. But I mean, seriously, good newsletter. I'm not saying this because I'm a part of it.
Always knows how to. Don't even back up Brand's Kickstarters. You don't even back that.
You don't need that. Just read
Who cares?
He doesn't need to create.
No,
Brand's
please back my
independently wealthy.
Kickstarter.
Brand's independently wealthy. You know, Brand's like,
You know, Jay.
Tony Stark.
He got on the
He
Skype
has
call.
Brand is Tony Stark.
Hey, Mustache Bros. You know, him and Tony. Mustache Bros.
That's true. But he got here on his private jet. You didn't know that?
No, I mean,
Totally.
no. Zone 4 doesn't have it has an it has an airship.
It's like Wonder Woman. It's invisible.
It is invisible.
Only I can see it.
You must be
But
private
here's
jet.
the thing, Brant. Are you invisible while you're flying it, or can people see you?
That is the age-old question, Jay.
You'll have to find out if you catch him in the air.
Considering what I wear in the plane, I hope I'm invisible. No, I'm joking.
But other than that, all the normal
He's
stuff.
wearing his Wonder Woman cosplay.
Okay, no, we're done. I'm done.
I'm West.
I don't want-
That's scary.
Social media.
Oh, I'm done.
Social media.
It's
Please,
a male
all about
version. It's a male version of Wonder Woman. Don't worry. What do they call that? Oh man, it's called something. It's
Wonder
Where-
Man. Wonder Boy.
No. When
What,
cosplayers
Gender Bender?
Gender Bender Wonder
Gender
Woman.
Bender Wonder Woman costume.
And Gender Bender airplane as well. Jet.
Yeah.
We don't know what that looks like.
But
It's a propeller. I have to actually.
but you know that a gender bender Wonder Woman still wears a skirt
Oh yeah, it's
because
a
it's a
kilt.
a Roman gladiator type skirt. So you're still wearing a skirt, Brant.
That's Brand's
Sorry.
Halloween costume.
That's Halloween costume. Well, other than that, social media across the board for me, and also follow Brooklyn Boys 13. We should have our next Oreo tasting video, myself and guest, depending on if Mike and or Tommy are around, pending. And that's that for me,
I
right?
know that is pending if Tommy's around. Like Tommy's got like a busy schedule. Like Tommy's like,
No.
Dad, I
there-
can't
the
fit you in
last
today.
time- The
Like,
last
I can't fit you in
time,
today,
the last
Dad. I
time
got
I did
very-
Oreos, the last time I did Oreos, I literally was like, Tommy, you want to do it? I want to watch Muppet Babies on Disney. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, but
That's
it's
his
different than
other
the way you
appointment.
said. The way you said if Tommy's around, you're like it's almost like he has
the
like
play
the schedule. It's
date.
like, Dad, let me see. I can't squeeze you in today. Can we
I can't squeeze you in
this
as
Tommy
Muppet
off?
Babies and Lion Guard. No, I can't do it today.
He's like, Dad, I got a 3:15 play date. I can't do this today.
Runs until 5.
My baby
You know,
girl.
Tommy should get a calendar.
Might as well, right? And when the
No,
Disney
he's-
app,
no, he's
when
got-
the Disney streaming app comes out, forget it. I'll never see.
he's got a digital planner, Cat. Tommy's high tech. He's 2018. He's got a digital planner.
Yeah, he's got a Kindle. He could
I
download
hope Tommy
an app.
becomes.
He's got that digital planner.
I hope
Tommy's-
Tommy becomes an Apple person.
I hope no, he won't. You know what? No, he won't because I don't have the money to support that kind of app. He can go out
Well,
and
like
work.
Jay, he'll work very young. Save up.
He'll
his
even go to Jay and
pennies.
be like, Uncle
You
Jay,
gotta-
Uncle
you
Jay,
gotta
have a
have-
job for me. I'll travel to Pennsylvania, Uncle Jay.
Well, you gotta. I would never buy Apple for anyone. I don't buy Apple for anyone.
Well, that's you, not Tommy.
I know. I would no, because Tommy would say, Uncle Jay, can you buy? Give me-"
No, I
won't
said,
tell you
Uncle
what
Jay,
it
can
is.
you give me
Oh.
a job?
Oh, okay. I was gonna say because I would not support Apple
No,
anyway.
Uncle Jay, will you get me a job?
I wouldn't even get him a job to.
Oh,
buy
you're
Apple.
so mean.
No, you know.
If he
you
was,
know,
if he was
you
gonna
get-
buy a PC
Jay, you
stuff,
can
I
get
would
him-
give him a job.
so-
You know,
mean,
you don't
Uncle
understand.
Jay.
You could give him a job and then convince him not to buy it and get something better. There you go. See, look,
No. and then he'll go to Aunt Aunt
I don't
Cat,
support
it'd be
anything.
like, well, you'll get the iPad, get the iPad.
This is where Uncle
I
Jay
don't
goes,
support-
don't listen to your aunt. She's a
I
little
just remind him that Cat has no soul.
Well,
Then-
he's fine with
then-
that.
Then he'll come to Uncle Brand.
How do you know?
Then he'll come to Uncle Brand, and Brand will be just like, dude, you can be whatever you want. You
Yeah,
can buy whatever you
right?
want. You can make your own
Wow.
choices.
Thanks,
I
Uncle
like
Brad.
that. I like
Thank
that.
you, Uncle
Support him.
Brad.
Support
And then
him.
Uncle Brand
Be
will
your
go
own
missing.
person.
Then
You're
Uncle
a
Brand will
person
go
with your dad's money.
Exactly.
Uncle Brand will go
No.
missing.
So yeah, Uncle Brand.
Go
No,
missing.
then Uncle Brand's gonna get a call from Daddy and be like, "Hey, Uncle Brand, give him a job now so he can buy that wonderful thing that you
Goes
want him
to
to be what he
Texas.
wants to be."
And Uncle Brand will say, I gave you a job. You paid for it.
I do not support Apple in any way.
I don't either.
Let's move on
No,
from this.
even better.
Yeah.
Wait, you'll go to Aunt
Yes,
Lisa.
I thought we were talking
You'll
about
go
what's
to
coming
Aunt
out.
Lisa.
Yeah, no.
Aunt Lisa, you get me
No, because no. Lisa is into Apple now.
right, and
She-
then Brand's
she-
gonna buy him
she's
for
a traitor.
Christmas.
She's
You'll
a
get it.
traitor.
Brand's
No,
she's
buying
not.
for him
She's
She's
smart.
had an
Christmas.
iPhone in the past. It's nothing new.
Yeah, but you
Lisa
get
betrayed.
It's money, because then Lisa's gonna go to Brand and be like, "We gotta buy Tommy that. We can't not buy Tommy that." And then Brand's gonna call me, and I'm gonna disappear. Your son knew who to go
You're
to.
gonna be in the invisible jet.
I just love how Tommy's like going playing everyone. Tommy's just like everyone playing everyone.
Everybody
against each
but
other.
himself.
I'm gonna lock Tommy away and be like, leave your aunts and uncles alone. They're gonna kill me. Leave them all alone.
Watch, Tommy's gonna be anti-establishment. He's gonna be anti-establishment. He's gonna be like, I don't want a computer.
All punk.
I want to do it on a
Analog.
typewriter.
He's gonna
I
have
denounce
a-
technology.
He's gonna have a big A on his shirt, and then everyone's gonna. Is that for Apple? No, it's for anarchy.
It's gonna be like, no, it's for analog.
It's for analog. Gets
My
his
son's gonna
typewriter.
be the supervillain of tomorrow. God.
Gets his
I'm so
stone.
proud.
Gets
I'm
his
so
chisel.
I'm so proud.
Oh
Fight the
man.
power, son. Fight the power.
His future is Choo Choo Charlie, Chris.
Oh yeah, that's true. Wouldn't you die if he actually became a wrestler? I'd have to actually start watching WWE again if they hired him. I would. I'm sorry.
I mean, I would hope you would.
Oh yeah. I mean, I'd support him 100%.
That's
I
good.
don't think he's gonna do that, but I mean, if he did, I know
Don't
my mother
put
would be like,
Tommy
"You're
in
not gonna do it."
Don't put Tommy in a box, okay?
Yeah,
He's
exactly.
in no box. He can do whatever he wants in life,
Good.
except the bad things. Then he can't do those.
He can wear his anarchy shirt.
Oh, even if he wears an anarchy shirt and raises hell, as long as it's raising hell legally, I'm okay.
Legal hell.
You raise hell, but do it legally.
Fight the government,
Don't get arrested.
but don't fight the government too much.
Don't get arrested. Fight the government, but don't get arrested.
Peaceful protest only, son.
Get that sunflower in your
no
hands.
burning any bras.
Oh,
I mean,
man.
burning bras is not illegal. So if he
It's
wants
not,
to,
but if you throw it on the White House lawn, it becomes
like
I
that, you
wanna
added
understand-
that, Tommy.
Why
I mean,
is Tommy going to
Chris.
burn a bra?
he's gonna steal his girlfriend's
Can I
bra.
just say, don't
Okay.
put Tommy in
All
a
right,
box.
Tommy just became a delinquent now.
Yeah, I don't want that.
Tommy
He's
can
stealing
burn.
bras.
He
He's
can burn
burning them.
any bra he
Guys.
wants.
And then
Yeah,
he's
I try
gonna
to make
blame
it. I can
Kat.
try to
He's
make
like,
it that
"Dang,
he's
Kat
just
told me this is a
analog.
good idea."
You guys have him stealing bras and burning them, and
All right, wait, Jay. He could go into Kohl's and buy his own bra to burn. Okay.
Hey, yeah, that's right. He could actually buy.
well, I'm not the one who said it. Chris is the one who said that he would steal his girlfriend's
He
bra.
would.
That's
Knowing
I didn't
Tommy
say
right
it.
now,
See, Chris?
knowing Tommy right now, he probably would.
Chris, you're
Well, he
putting
is your
him
son.
in that box. That's true. That's
I ain't putting him in no box. He can do whatever he wants with any bra. He can wear it if he wants. Put it on his head. He can be Mickey Mouse. I don't care. I would take pictures and support him 100%. Then he brought his new girlfriend home, and I'd be like, "You want to see some pictures? You want to see some pictures?
Oh man.
Okay, that just went very dark.
Oh yeah,
This is Chris's specialty.
blackmail.
Brand's gonna have fun
Jay-
editing this one.
I know, I'm telling you. Jay,
Really?
what do
You're not
have-
editing any of this.
What do you have coming up going on, Jay?
Let's say my Shattered Grid series is ending on Frontline. It's now going to be my Power Ranger reviews are now the Command Center reviews. So, because I think that fits it, because not everything's going to be beyond the grid, so it's going to fit it better. Frontline reviews are every Friday. Check them out. This week, right now on Comic Frontline, is Power Rangers Week. So every day I'm doing something as a countdown of something for Power Rangers. I done the theme songs, I done the team ups, and today I did the 44 different 6/auxiliary Rangers. 44 of them, people. I counted them down.
Brand's excited.
Brand's like, I gotta go back. I got a series to watch now.
Well, no, it's all written, and it's not long, so you guys can check that out. Let's see what else. Kat forgot to mention, so I'll mention it. Mondays on Comic Frontline is top 5 panels. Check them out every Friday, every Monday. Now. Yeah.
Hey Jay, by the way, I will say this about Tommy, and you'll like this. He actually found not a Mighty Morphin, the latest Power Ranger app, where I think it's the Dino
Charge.
Yeah, and it's like a Final Fantasy-esque kind of game where you have to click a button on the touchscreen to find. Oh, my son loves it. I'm like, you know what? Jay would love you right now. Every time you put that game on.
Dino Charge is a good season too, but let's see, what else? Join the Discord again, like Chris said. It's for free. You can go to comicfrontline.com. It's right on the right below the banner. You can find a link for that.
It's a non-toxic group. We love all people.
Also in there, you can vote for our weekly poll on Comic Frontline. This week's poll, since it would be still up at the time, would be what is this week's poll, Brent? Do you remember? I would tell the results. Should I give the results for last week's poll? Because we did ask Zone 4 people to
that is true. Yeah.
So I'll give those real fast too.
I just looked at those results today.
The current poll is: are you going to get Disney Play?
Oh yeah.
Good one.
My answer is definite.
Oh yeah, me too. Come on.
My son would kill me. My son would kill me if I didn't. But I also like Disney, and if it's going to be the same price as Disney Universe, I mean that would be crazy.
You're just like Mike. Mike did the same thing.
Mike did it like 4 times in a row after we told him. Like,
I think I started it, and then he continued it, and now Chris is continuing it, and he wasn't even there.
Okay, this is the poll that ran for 2 weeks on Frontline because we wanted the Zone 4 audience to get into it. It's which of the 6 characters will die in Heroes in Crisis?
There's a lot of ties.
Yeah, it is. Tim Drake has 16%. Kyle Rayner, Roy Harper, Vic Stone, Cyborg, and are all tied for 28%. Then we have Booster Gold and Harley are tied for 0%. And there is no one
is obvious because they're probably killing them. So
one of them dies, I'll die laughing. That's what I'm gonna do.
No, they're definitely the murderers.
Well, yeah, we know Booster's in at least issue 3, so because that's the list of it, and he's in there.
And Harley's wearing like Booster's thing.
You know what we all forget though? Booster Gold is a time traveler. You could easily kill a version of him, and another one could show up. Just saying.
Well,
I mean, they did that.
Depending how time travel works, but
I mean, he saw Superman and Wonder Woman kiss and disappeared in a new Booster
Gold. Have you watched Flash, Cat?
That's true.
Remnants and all that stuff.
No, that's what I'm saying. There's so much into it. So much into it.
Let's see. What else do I have? I think that's all I have coming out so far. The latest, the next. Oh, Frank, are you going to be joining us for the next Media Madness? It's the Big Brother comic edition.
Wednesday.
Oh, is it?
I love how he was like,
really?
and he's like,
I'm willing to change the day if you need it.
What is that? What date is that? The 3rd?
5th? I think.
5th.
The
5th of September?
Yeah.
I think it's that Wednesday. All right. Yeah, because we'll be playing that. We're going to be playing.
He's not sure yet.
Yeah, he's not sure yet. No, I'm saying, but we're still playing it. I mean, hopefully Brent will be on to make it more fun, but we're still doing the show.
Oh yeah, no, we're still doing it.
And that would be again Wednesday the 5th at 10 o'clock p.m. Eastern time.
That reminds me, I never went back and watched it because I was still I was like 15 minutes in and you guys were still choosing characters.
Yeah, we're gonna do that before we go
before
the show starts. So we'll do that in like Discord. We said it like in a private chat or something.
Yeah.
So that would be a thing. And then follow me on Twitter at Comic Book Theater minus the R, and follow Comic Frontline on Twitter at Comic Frontline, and of course on Facebook and Instagram too, all at Comic Frontline. And then Brant, what do you have coming up?
All right, so of course every Monday on my channel at Brant Fowler you can find Monday Musings. I've been doing when I remembered to do them, I've been doing the Daily Muse tweets, just little random thoughts that I've been having, and I tweet them out. I forgot Wednesday, I think, and I was like, oh man, I missed the day. But anyway, whenever I think about it, they're there. You got my weekly comic rankings on Comic Frontline. I try to get those up on Tuesday. Sometimes it bleeds into Wednesday, but I'm trying to be more consistent about that. And let's see, Frontline reviews, like Chris mentioned reviews, but Frontline reviews on Fridays. I think I'm reviewing today's Extermination, I think I'm doing, and Beyonders, which is a new book from Aftershock. Is that it? Yeah, I think that's it for me right now. Of course, check out everything Last Ember Press. You can follow me at Brant Fowler across social media. And don't forget, next week, Zone 4 becomes a live show on Comic Frontline, 10 p.m. Eastern Time, right here.
Yay!
Awesome.
And follow Zone 4 on all social media.
Yeah.
Podcasts.
Yes.
Sorry, I got quiet for a minute because I couldn't hear anybody anymore.
Oh, okay. So
just
you
we were
made the
listening.
yay. Okay.
That was funny. All right, so that is our show. And Chris, it is your turn to read us out. But before that, thank you once again, Kat, for joining us for the show.
Thank you again. This is so much fun.
Yeah, we had a blast.
And since we're ending the show, we'd like to thank the official bands of Zone 4, the Ray Waltz Band and the Society's Plague that you hear on the show each and every episode. We're also proud members of the Comics Podcast Network. You can find us on comicspodcast.com, Comic Frontline, Stitcher, iTunes, and of course, zone4podcast.com. If you have any comments, questions, or suggestions for us, send those to zone4podcast@gmail.com. And as always, thank you for listening. You're now leaving the fantastic Zone 4.
This is only a test for the X-Men.
This has been a Gonzo Goose production.